Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the TheDisplayLine podcast. I'm your host, Olly,
And I'm your other host, Joey.
and today we'll be taking you through a review of Midlands Air Festival, which we are so excited to do. We'll also be taking you through some news, especially with space, where there being a huge explosion, weather as well as some war news and some quite interesting normal news. So, Joey, do you want to take us through your first area of expertise, being the war news?
Yeah, so it's been a bit of an interesting week for war news. There's not a lot to talk about, but it's what we are talking about that's sort of the intriguing aspect is that Kuwait International Airport was struck by an Iranian Shahed 136 drone, which I thought things had sort of not calmed down, but things weren't really happening in that area of the world for quite a while. But seems things have kicked back off again. I know a few other countries did also get targeted by drones, but the only one I've seen so far, in terms of video, is Terminal 1 of Kuwait International Airport being struck by a drone, which is a civilian target, um, but it is also aviation related, so that's why we're mentioning it here.
Yeah, there's also a few other bits of war news, including some KC-135s going back to America with some scars on them. So we did mention a few weeks ago, or maybe even a few months ago now, of a KC-135 returning to RAF Mildenhall or US Air Force Mildenhall with some battle scars. Now some others have now fully returned to America with also some battle scars, which look a lot worse than the one we saw come back to Mildenhall. So it's quite insane that they made it back over with that level of damage.
Yeah, we saw a few weeks ago, I think we even mentioned it, that they'd returned to places in the UK, and now we're seeing them go all the way back to the US. So presumably those ones are not being used in the Middle East at the moment because of the damage, because of presumably shrapnel hitting them.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's an interesting thing to see all the, I believe it's like aviation tape or something like that that they've
Yeah,
put covering the little
duct
holes,
tape.
um, which isn't quite duct tape. It's stronger than that. It's
Yeah.
made of aluminium, but it's a unique look to an aircraft. I will give it that.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent of World War Two when you had Spitfires being patched up with like some little wood and maybe some sellotape or something if they're lucky and been sent straight back into the air. But yeah, I mean aviation standards these days are a lot higher than they were back then, so it's quite cool to see this duct tape being stuck being stuck to the sides of the KC-135s and all other aircraft. We'd also have a lot of normal news this week, and we start off with a paraglider being hit by a Cessna 172 in Austria, which is an incredibly bizarre incident to me because it's just like how can you not see a massive parachute in front of you because they were flying like the Cessna went into the back of it directly into the back of the paraglider. It's just like how can you not see a paraglider in front of you? But it was the paraglider was fine. They opened the rescue chute like the emergency chute and they landed completely fine.
Yeah, the video of this, I thought it was like AI generated or something, especially nowadays. There's a lot of AI generated out there. But then I did a bit more research and then figured out it was real. But it is quite a bizarre situation. Like Ollie said, how do you not see the paraglider in
Yeah,
front of you? But that is one of the unfortunate aspects of aviation, in that the hardest aircraft to see are the ones you are on a collision course with, because they stay in the exact same spot in your vision, and humans are designed to see moving things.
yeah.
That is an unfortunate aspect, and is probably what happened here. But everyone was fine, at least as far as what I've seen. Everyone was fine. But it is a bizarre situation to see happen.
Yeah, we also have a Lufthansa 787-9 gear failure at Frankfurt Airport. There has actually been a few reported injuries. We don't know severity. This happened today, I believe it was, about a few hours ago. So we don't actually know the status of any of the casualties or anything. But no deaths have been reported, just some minor injuries from all we know.
Yeah, a similar situation did happen to a British Airways aircraft in, I believe, 2022, in that the exact same thing happened. But it's definitely a strange situation. These landing gear are made to, survive the harsh impacts of landing. So just sitting there next to the terminal, just collapsing and just bending down, it's definitely not what we want to see, but it is quite an intriguing situation to see happen. But moving on, we also have there's not a lot of information on this one, but a plane did get stuck on the runway at Glasgow Airport. It was like a small general aviation propeller plane, but there is not a lot of information, but it did cause a lot of aircraft to divert or be delayed or have to do a lot of holding patterns. But like I said, there's not a lot of information on it.
Yeah, it's just a video that me and Joey found, and we thought it would be worth mentioning. This, but no, a lot of this did actually happen like 2 weeks ago because obviously we didn't have a podcast last week. So a lot of this stuff is quite old as well. So there's not too much that we can really find that wasn't already released when we noted down the news in the first place.
Yeah, and then moving on to something that we do have a bit more information on is it's sort of tied into weather news in that we had all those freak lightning storms in the UK over the last 2 weeks, uh, including Blackpool. And Blackpool Airport's ATC did get struck by lightning, which caused some malfunctions in some of their electrical equipment, which is sort of a unique situation in that they have lightning rods designed to take that strike. However, sometimes it's not the lightning rod that gets struck, it's any of the other pointy up things that all the ATC towers have. So hopefully they get it. I believe they've got it back up and running, but hopefully whatever damage it did cause, they can get fixed very quickly. But yeah, I just thought I'd include it because it's my local and it's not something you see every day.
Now, there has also been quite a few crashes within the last few weeks. The most notable one being the Avro triplane crash at Shuttleworth on the day of the Wings and Wheels air show. It's not well. There is no official confirmation on why this happened, but you could quite clearly hear an engine failure. So luckily, the pilot's completely fine. He was discharged from the hospital pretty fast. I believe he landed in a tree when it crashed. So definitely it could have been it was definitely a softer landing than what it could have been if he landed in a tree. But yeah, we'll play the video now. And you could hear the engine not working properly. You could hear it like stuttering, going. Yeah, you can hear it visually, audibly, not visually. You can hear it audibly not working very well, and you could see it just dip behind the tree at the end there.
I suppose that's the benefit of it being such a slow aircraft is as much as bad as it is hitting a tree, he hit it at like 15 miles an hour. So it's not like a fatal,
Yeah.
dangerous crash. I mean, it's dangerous obviously because he hit a tree with a plane, but he didn't hit it at those normal plane speeds. So from what I've seen and what you said, he was okay. But that's not what we can say for the next one, unfortunately. This is very fresh news, in terms of I believe it was last night or the night before, like 4 in the morning or something like that, but a Royal Navy Merlin, I believe, did crash in the Devon area of England, with 3 unfortunate fatalities.
Yeah, so there's like Joe said, there's three fatalities, two being men and one being a woman from the Royal Navy. It's a very rare crash. I don't think we've seen a Merlin or Wildcat or any Navy helicopter crash within the last 5 years, from all I know. Um, because they have very high levels, like even higher than normal engineering standards to keep these aircraft flying, especially as they get deployed and fly every single day for hours on end. So it's not something that you usually see, and as this only happened a few nights ago, we still don't know the cause. I'm sure the CAA and the Royal Navy will both be launching their individual investigations to see what happened with the aircraft. But looking at the image and the videos, you can't you if you didn't know that was a helicopter, you could not tell that was a helicopter. There is nothing left.
Yeah, the only physical bit that remained was, like, a portion of the tail
Yeah.
section. So it looked like quite I don't wanna say energetic crash, but there wasn't much to see. So clearly it was a high speed at the least, but it happened near a training base for these aircraft, so it was presumably during routine training. But moving on from that, we do move on to definitely some of the most interesting news I think we have. I think Ollie can agree with me on that, is people who do plane spotting in a very unconventional place of Area 51. Um, they do it just to see if they can see any prototype or experimental aircraft, and usually they do. They captured video of what most people believe to be the F-47's maiden test flight. Some people are saying that it's AI. Some people are saying that it's Photoshop, even though it's a video. Some people are saying that it's a different aircraft, like an X-36. Although based on looking at it and based on the type of camera used and what other people use, like Uncanny Expeditions use, it does seem to me to be real. Although it could just be a prototype version. It's definitely not going to be a finalized version flying just yet, but it's
Yeah.
definitely the most intriguing bit of news we have.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, well, if you look at the video, the full video, once it's zoomed out, it actually looks like a Vigan, and I mentioned that to Joey earlier. So a Vigan is one of the elder jet fighters for Sweden. There is actually like two flying, I believe, with the Swedish like historic restoration company. But yeah, it looks like a Vigan, but then it zooms in, you can visibly tell that is not a Vigan, and it is some sort of American prototype aircraft from Area 51 or an unknown base around that area, because there's a lot of unknown testing that really does go into it. And yeah, I'm sure we'll find out more and see this aircraft more as more videos and pictures come out over the next few months, I'm sure.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're filming this on a Thursday, and the people who filmed it said that the full video would be released on Friday. So I'm sure by the time we're editing this, you will know, we'll have seen the full video. But we do know that the F-47's, at least the airframe, has been spotted at Area 51 in the past. So we do know that if it was to be tested, that's where it would be tested. So it just adds a bit of validity to the video that we've
Yeah.
seen.
Moving on to our space news, Joey will take you through the rest of the space news because I don't know much about it. I know about the Starship launch, which Joey will start off with, and I did see the New Glenn explosion, which then Joey will move on to, but I don't know any of the facts behind it, which I'm sure Joey does.
Yeah, so we'll start, as Ollie said, with Starship Flight 12, which launched a day after we filmed the last one, I believe. The last episode that we filmed, it was a day after that. But I was watching it, my tutor was watching it, a lot of people were watching it. It was the debut flight of it was the debut flight of the Raptor 3 engines. It was the debut flight of the V2 booster, or V3 booster, depending on what you class as V1 and V2 because there wasn't much difference between them. It was the debut flight of the V3 ship, and it was the debut flight of the new launch pad. So nothing about this flight was the same, not even the software itself. And it went well. It's being classed as uh, not optimal because it didn't go perfectly, but they hit all the objectives they wanted to. The first stage did have an unfortunate end, slamming into the ocean at Mach 1, but as far as it made a controlled descent down to a somewhat precise landing spot, the ship went on to have one engine fail on the way up, but it has capabilities to account for that. So it made it to where it wanted to. It deployed its payload, which immediately fell back down to Earth because it wasn't going to orbit. Um, and then it re-entered the atmosphere and splashed down in the ocean at a very precise landing spot. So it went well. It's being classed as a mishap because of the booster not landing at 0 miles an hour, but rather 1,000 miles an hour. But speaking of mishaps, New Glenn, Ollie knows all too well about this one because we've talked about it in the promo and he's seen the video of it. New Glenn did some static fire testing over the week, oh, I guess last weekend when this comes out. And it wasn't very static, I will say that. It had some issue on the ground side, we believe, like, everyone who's seen it believes it was on the ground side, which caused the entire rocket to explode in a fireball comparable to 200 tons of TNT, which is the size of a really small nuke. Um, it's definitely the largest rocket explosion in modern history, and possibly in the top 5, in history in general. It destroyed a lot of the ground infrastructure, including the transporter that brought it to the pad, the lightning rod next, like the lightning tower next to the pad, and it caused significant damage to the big tower next to the rocket. Um, so hopefully New Glenn can come back from this. Hopefully they can um, just get their next rocket ready for at least next year. It's definitely going to take a long time because this destroyed Slick 36 pretty much entirely. Hopefully they can come back from this though. Although, moving on to the last bit of space news, which is a bit more upbeat from New Glenn exploring, is NASA's Psyche mission did its Mars flyby, which it was scheduled to do for a while. It launched a long time. I can't remember exactly when it launched, but it launched quite a while ago, and it's using Mars as a gravity assist to kind of slingshot it further out. Um, and it did its Mars flyby. It flew very, very close, got thousands of pictures. If we can find any, we'll probably put them on the screen. But it's something I've been waiting for a while. I've been waiting for the pictures to come out. They released some of the pictures, not all of them yet, and they are some of the best pictures of Mars that we have so far. So it's been an interesting 2 weeks for space news, I will say that.
Yeah, now we move on to our last segment, which is the weather news. There's really not much. There was a steam devil, pretty explanatory. You have leaf eddies, which is leaves. You have dust devils, which is dust. I bet you couldn't guess what a steam devil is. It's steam from a volcano eruption. It's quite tall. It's probably one of the tallest ones ever video recorded. There's really not too much to say about it. It is literally just a spinning column of steam that went quite high.
Yeah, I suppose one of the other things that we have in the weather news that we didn't actually note down is all the lightning that the UK had over the last 2 weeks. We had a lot of energy in the atmosphere from the heat wave, which just culminated into a lot of lightning storms. I had lightning over my house. Ollie had lightning over his house. We were literally messaging each other at like
Yeah.
midnight, talking about this lightning, and then Ollie was saying that I'm missing out because I didn't have any, and then like 5 minutes later, I had some and he didn't, which kind of backfired on him.
Well, I
But
had it. It was just
yeah,
going
there was a lot
away.
of lightning. Yeah, it was disappearing as mine was turning up. Um, a lot of lightning. I got plenty of videos from my bed. I was just looking out the window through my curtains. Um, it was definitely an exciting week for any weather enthusiasts in the UK. There was, I believe, 3-inch hail that landed near you, actually, in the south of England. Um, so it was like picturesque supercells as well, like the things you get in America in Tornado Alley. Someone also recorded blue jets or um, plasma jets that come up out of the top of thunderstorms. They've never been properly videoed in the UK before until now. So if we can find that, we will put it up. If not, I'm sure you can probably Google it. But yeah, it's been an interesting week or 2 weeks of weather for the UK.
Yeah, it really has been. I mean, like yeah, like you said, we didn't really mention any of it, but yeah. But now we move on to the main segment of the podcast, which is the review of Midlands Air Festival. I'm going to basically take this display by display, talking about each display and what we thought of it. Joey got GoPro footage for all of it, so there'll be GoPro footage probably playing over us talking here or after we finish speaking about the aircraft. So I was there on all 3 days. I saw everything that Midlands had to offer, while Joey was only there on the Sunday. So I'll quickly take you through a little run through of the whole show before we move on to this Sunday when we were both there. So on Friday, it was a great hot sunny day. It was like 28 degrees, I think it got up to, so quite a hot day. Obviously there was the balloons in the morning for the media, like BBC, like North, I don't know what BBC Birmingham or whatever. I don't know. I know there's loads of different types of BBC around the UK. So there was a big hot air balloon mass ascent that I could probably see from my place of stayingness, if you like. My I don't really know. It's like a shack. It's like one of those mobile camper vans that doesn't move. So it's like a mobile home that isn't very mobile, but it's not like an actual house. So yeah, and I could see I could see the firework display later on from the caravan, so I'm sure I could have seen the balloons. But yeah, the night glow, pretty. I mean, we didn't actually stay for it because we had to get up at like 6 o'clock the next morning. But yeah, we could see the fireworks, we could see the balloons, we could see the airborne pyrotechnics all from the little house thing we were staying in. But yeah, it was a great day. The commentators were great. They let me in the commentary box, which we'll have some footage of now.
Midlands Air Festival. It's Ollie here from the TheDisplayLine podcast. Yeah.
Ollie, tell me, what is the DisplayLine podcast?
Well, it's a brand new podcast I made around late January time with my mate Joey. We're both photographers, and I've been at Midlands for the last 4 years now, so since 2022. And we thought, starting a podcast to entice people into the aviation community, especially young people, because a lot of young people these days aren't too interested in aviation. So we thought if we could get people into the industry, it would be amazing, especially in the engineering side, which is the side that I'll be in hopefully in a few years.
And it was really amazing getting in there. It was a bit nerve-wracking at first, but then, you're from the commentary box, you can't see the crowd. You're looking out into the trees. So you're talking to the trees rather than the crowd. It was awesome getting that opportunity. And on the Saturday, I got to do the salute for the RAF Falcons, which there'll be footage of now.
Falcons! Falcons, sit! Good evening. I was into the 2026 RAF Falcons Power Display team. Hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, it's great.
Brilliant. Mission to fall up. Falcons, fall out!
And that was probably one of my favourite highlights of the whole weekend, getting to do the salute to the RAF Falcons. It was amazing, and they all told me afterwards how good my drill was and how it was probably the best one the best salute they've ever seen. So I'll take that. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but I'll take the compliment anyway.
Yeah, I have a feeling they might say that to everyone, but you was in the cadets at one point, so you do have a little bit more experience than some other people. But yeah, the Sunday, we'll move on to that. It was fun, I will say. It was one of the most unique air shows I've been to because it's an Earth festival. The vibe's a little bit different. You go to places like Blackpool, it's packed. Everyone's there to see the Red Arrows, to see the Typhoon. You go to Riyadh, everyone's there to see all the fighter jets. It's packed. It's an air show. It's got 8 hours straight jet after jet. Whereas Midlands, it's a bit slower paced and it's a bit more calm. I know that we had the slipstream, so we was right at the front and couldn't see all the people at the back. But even then, when I went to go and get food at some point, just walking past everyone was just having picnics. Everyone was
Yeah.
just having a chill vibe. It was much more relaxed than the other air shows, and I think my parents will definitely agree, and hopefully they'll like it that much that I can go for all 3 days next year. But that might take a lot of convincing, but I'll work on it. I'll work on it. But as for the displays themselves, they were great. You know, the things like I mean, we'll get into specific displays in a bit, but like I've never seen the MiG 17 before. I'd love to see it again. It was great. You were saying that the display on the Sunday was actually the best one of the weekend that the MiG 17 did. So I think I got a bit lucky in that I went on the Sunday. But as for the air show, it was an incredible air show.
Yeah, it really was. It's one of my favourite air shows, definitely up there in at least the top five, if not the top four, if not the top three. I still haven't decided yet of all the air shows I've been to because I've been to loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of them over the year over the last 12, 13 years of my life. So yeah, it's definitely up there. Definitely in the top five. I just haven't decided if it's in the top four or three yet, because I'm basing this on every single year of every single air show. So the 5 years of Dunsfold, no, 6 years of Dunsfold, the year of Riyadh, 4 of Midlands, Bournemouth, Little Grandson, all the rest. So, but this year was definitely very up there. There were some great displays. So, we're going to get started. So, we're going to start off with the hot air balloons, and we'll take you all the way through until the Falcons at the end. So, Joey, you didn't get to see any of the hot air balloons because they didn't actually fly because the wind was
Yeah.
being a bit blustery and windy, so they couldn't take off. But on the Friday evening, Saturday morning, and Saturday night, they all there was hundreds of balloons. They all took off and flew away, and then on the Saturday morning, they actually did like a loop. So the wind was like because when wind is all different at different levels, so it's all blowing around. They took off, went high. Well, they were going away, went high, and then the wind basically brought them back, and they came back down. So like half the hot air balloons went up and then turned around and then just came back. So that was quite cool to see. Actually, Joey, do you want to keep speaking while I go grab something for that I got from one of the hot air balloon stands?
Yeah. So unfortunately, I didn't see the hot air balloons, but as I did see the hot air balloon basket, which is like just a hot air balloon without the balloon part. And throughout the entire Sunday, they were testing the fire, presumably getting it ready for the flying, which they didn't unfortunately do due to wind. It was quite windy, quite turbulent, higher up in the air. It wasn't that windy on the ground, but you could see when the Falcons released that one balloon, you could see it flying off very quickly once it got up there. But other than that, Ollie saw all the hot air balloons, so he's definitely the expert on that.
Well, yeah, I was speaking to a great guy. His name's Ando. He was the commentator there, so Pete Ando Anderson. So all the people at Midlands, all the commentators, all the staff, they have their own nicknames and stuff. So Pete Ando Anderson, Pete Anderson, Ando. So yeah, his name's Pete Ando Anderson. And well, we'll put the interview up just after this segment. But basically, we were just chatting, and all these hot air balloons went all over our head. I have a great picture that will probably be up on the screen as we speak of just hundreds of hot air balloons flying away, and one of them being this one here. So obviously, this isn't a hot air balloon. This is a teddy, but this is the well balloon. You'll see on the picture, or when I put the picture up, that this is called Iggy the Dragon. So it's basically just a dragon as a hot air balloon. His name's Iggy. They come from the Netherlands, so they travelled quite a way to get here just for a few flies. But you know, this cost 18 quid, and for scale, I mean, it's as big as my head, which isn't hard to beat. But you know, that still makes it quite big. And for £18, you could pick up an Iggy the Dragon. My mum got also a pin badge from Iggy the Dragon, and it's quite a cool plushie. I think it wasn't so expensive for the size, so compared to Tung Tung, our mascot, quite big. It's quite wide as well, so probably wider than my head in total, which again isn't exactly hard to beat. But yeah, Iggy the Dragon was one of the many special shapes there. So they had things like the Orient Express, a Harley motorcycle, Thomas the Tank Engine, Slick the Dragon. So that's just another dragon that was there. They also have Wes the Wolf and like When the Wolf or something or something like that. I don't know. Wes the Wolf's like girlfriend or boyfriend or some sort of family relations. But yeah, Iggy the Dragon was like one of the only hot air balloons that actually sold merch, and we picked up two of these, one for me and one for my sister.
Yeah, you actually bought that on the Sunday during the model aircraft pyrotechnics because you're not a fan of the pyrotechnics bit. It's a bit too loud. It is quite loud, I will say. Like you was warning me beforehand. You was like, it is going to be quite loud, and then we were in the flight simulator
Yeah,
as they started,
Falcon
and
2 Flight
I don't
Simulator,
even, like the curtain thing that they put to cover it
yeah.
was moving whenever
Yeah.
the shock waves would hit us, and that was at the other side of the field. And then you had to go back to get some money for the dragon, um, and it was quite loud then, and that was right next to it. So I personally didn't get anything, but I know you got a lot of things at Midlands, like some models and stuff. If you wanna, if you have them with you, but
Well,
you
yeah.
got a lot of models.
Well, the easiest one to get is this Charles Leclerc Ferrari model, which again I bought from the exact same store that I bought this one from last year. So, you know, I've also bought every single. Basically, I bought this model from the same store, 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 and this model from the same store, as well as those two that I just showed you as well. And I also bought 5, not 4, not 3, not 2, not 1, but 5 models, model aircraft from the same model store. Which I'll grab them out of my display cabinet if Joey, you want to quickly speak.
Yeah, as I said, I didn't buy anything. Ollie bought a lot of F1 cars because he's into F1. I was going to buy, I can't remember what it was I was going to buy, but then by the time it got round to it, the show had ended already and we was on our way home. But we went to go get some food at one point and we walked past Drafts on Tour. Uh, I know I always talked a lot about them in the past. They sell drafts for charity. Um, didn't have any money on us. That was probably what we were going to go buy. I didn't have any money on us at the time walking past because we were going to get like £2 burgers or something like that. In the end, didn't find any burgers. Went immediately back to go sit down. But in terms of what you can buy model planes, model cars, teddies. I saw someone selling chairs. I'm pretty sure. You could buy even our stuff. You could buy our cups, t-shirt. I don't think we had any t-shirts, cups, keychains and stuff. So there was a lot of people selling stuff there, even us.
We made £22.50 profit in the end, which is all in our display line bank account, display line funds. We have not spent any of it. I can probably not show you all the details of the bank account because that's like a bad thing to do. But you know, like, but anyway, models. I did get another model, but it's at the back of the display cabinet. It's quite big, and I can't be able to put it back. So I'll put a picture of up on the screen of that now, which is a tornado, a beautiful German tornado in a black and white color scheme. It's my favourite model, and it was only 38 quid. So some of the other bigger models there were like 100 quid for the same sized model, if not even smaller. That tornado that's up on the screen now was 38 quid, and it's quite good quality. I mean, yes, the front of it's slightly bent, but what do you expect? It's a model store at an air show. It's not going to be perfect. They're probably all secondhand as it is, so it's very good quality for the price and being at a air show model aircraft store. We also have three. So I bought these models that I'm about to show now. So this is an SU-24. Let me turn the brightness down on here. Actually, not that much. So there we go. We have an SU-24 here, which is a well, they call it a CY-24. I'm sure that probably means SU-24. I don't know if you can see it on there. But this was, so these three were £10 in total. So it was 3 for 10. So we also have a MiG-21. And finally, we have a MiG-29 with a bit of a temperamental missile. So if it falls off, then I don't know. But one of these missiles does come off very easily, so I've just stuck it back on very carefully. But yeah, all of those three were £10. So again, not terrible for 3 models. They're quite good. They're not terrible quality, I'll tell you that. Joe, if you want to quickly speak again.
Yeah, I suppose what you don't want is your missile falling off your plane. So you might want to glue that one on because temperamental missile falling off a plane is not really a good thing to diagnose your plane with. It's not optimal now. Of all the things to fall off your plane, you could have the landing gear, but no, a missile falling off is definitely the most dangerous of those.
Well, an engine could fall off. You
But
probably don't want that.
yeah, but at least you can land. Whereas if you're on the ground and a missile falls off your plane, you're probably not gonna have a good time with that. But yeah, as always showing, you can get a lot of things there. Like there is so much amenities there. You can buy things. You can go walk around, go get food. They got donuts that aren't really donuts, but they are
Flat
donuts.
squash
Would
donuts,
you?
yeah.
They're like donuts, but if you compress them, apparently they were really good. So
Don't
there's
know.
that.
Yeah. But anyway, the final model I got was a B-57 Canberra, so the American rip-off version of our English electric one, basically. But it does have removable landing gear, so if you want it in just a flight configuration, you can take off the landing gear, which I'll show you. So you can take those off if you just want it to have no landing gear. But I just chose to put them on just so I don't lose the parts. This was 8 quid, I think. I think it was something like, it was either 8 or 20, but I can't remember. Either way, my mum bought it for me as a birthday present, I'm pretty sure. So I didn't pay for it, but I did pay for all the other models. So I did. No, do you know what? That tornado was 28 quid. That tornado wasn't 38, it was 28. Altogether, those 4 models were 38. So there you go. It was even cheaper than originally thought.
Yeah, it's good prices for the models. I mean, that one you got in your hand there, based on the price of all the other models, I would probably put my bets at it being £8 rather than 20. But
Yeah.
they are good prices for the models. I don't know how much the F1 cars were. That's very much your area of
Oh.
expertise.
It says on the box, but I think the box is in the bin. I think it was about 15 or something. No, 5.
Not
No, I
bad.
think it was 5, but
Well,
15
even better.
for the like more modelly models rather than just like toys.
Yeah, I mean that's good for some like they're metal as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's good for a metal model, £5 or 15 for the more non-modelly modelled ones.
So we also got. Well, I also got Joey didn't. I also got a Jeffrey the Giraffe E3A NATO AWACS thing. And I also got a Midlands Air Festival. I don't know why I'm in 3 FPS, but I also got a Midlands Air Festival patch. And we also got like 5 different posters because they didn't do the Flightline walk on the Sunday, so they all just gave us posters. But we also already had a poster, so we had like 3 in the end.
And I guess they did technically do the flight walk on Sunday, but there
Well,
was
yeah,
like just the gyro. There was just the gyro air displays. One
RV4
raid, I
and one
believe, yeah,
Raven.
and one RV4, yeah. So there wasn't a whole lot. We got a nice close-up via the gyro. We even spoke to some people near the gyro, got a picture with some people. Um, but it was a pretty chill flight line walk. It was mostly just walking in front of
Yeah.
everyone.
We got some
But we got
pictures in our
close.
first fan interaction as well, if you want to mention that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if they knew who we were beforehand, but they definitely do now. Um, but yeah, I mean, we went on the commentary box on the Sunday as well. You mentioned on the Friday,
Yeah, there'll be some
but we
footage
also
or
went in there
audio at
on the
least up
Sunday,
now.
and it was fun. It was fun. I was a bit nervous, obviously. I have social anxiety, but as Ollie said, you're literally looking away from the crowd. You're looking towards just you're walking towards the display
Yeah.
line. Um, So, it was he did a lot more of the talking than me, but I mean,
But
Ando
Mr.
was nice.
Pete did kind of make you speak. He was like, "Oh, now can we get your perspective?"
Yeah, I mean, it was all normal questions that we talk about here all
Yeah.
the time, like why we started it, which we've talked about in the past, what our thoughts are on certain things, and they're all normal questions as you'll have heard from the audio. I don't know if we'll put in the entire thing
It's
because
about 10 minutes
according to
long, I
the
think. So
like
I'll probably put
10
about three
minutes,
or
yeah.
four minutes in.
Um,
Gentlemen, boys and girls, we have some special guests here in the commentary position for the Midlands Air Festival. Who are we?
Hello, everyone at Midlands. Hope you're all having a good time. My name is Ollie,
And my name is Joey.
and we both come from the DisplayLine podcast.
Yeah, but it was good. It was good. We had a few conversations with people after we left the commentary box. A few people who were listening in and wanted to come talk to us about engineering or maybe even a possible guest in the future. But it was it was definitely one of the coolest things I've done at an air show. I remember at Blackpool last year, um, I got a little shout out from
Yeah,
you
because I
through the
got, yeah.
commentator. Yeah, like you just DM'd him on Instagram and he does his little thing where he shouts people out who message him. And I had come all the way from Preston to Blackpool, which is like 20 minutes away.
Oh,
Whereas there were
no.
people being
Ah,
shouted out. Yeah,
20
there was people being
minutes.
shouted out coming from Australia. And
Oh,
he said
yeah.
all the way from for me, but just said he came from Australia for the other guy.
No, but
Um,
like, it's
but
probably quicker to get from Australia to like here than it is for me to get to Blackpool. Because it's like 7 hours for me to get to Blackpool. Oh, well, I guess a flight is about 12 hours, but then you just go to Blackpool Airport and then you just get an accommodation. So it's probably about the same for me to get out there as it is
yeah,
for a guy from Australia to get out there. But anyway, I do want to
it
quickly
would certainly be
mention
quicker for
the
you. It would be quicker for you to get to Scotland. Oh
yeah,
no, it'd be quicker for them to get to
get to
Scotland. They'd
Scotland.
fly
Yeah.
straight to Edinburgh.
I do want to quickly mention though, not all models are metal. So big shout out to my dad for printing this for me for my birthday. This is a 3D printed Typhoon. Let's get it in the light here. This is a 3D printed Typhoon that my dad 3D printed, funnily enough, for my birthday. And yeah, I just wanted to point out that not every model has to be a metal model. I love this. This is such a cool German Typhoon. That I don't have a model of. I have a model of UK Typhoons, but never a German Typhoon. And it just goes to show that this is probably cost like 2p to make. Well, probably a bit more, maybe like £2 to make. But it just shows that not everything has to be. You don't always have to buy everything from air shows. You don't, and this stuff, and it's relatively cheap in comparison to metal models, but still, well, bigger and also as good as the quality. So
Yeah, I love 3D printing personally. I've not thought of making plane models with it. I mean, all I do is make rockets, and I've
yeah,
always seen all too familiar with this rocket. But hopefully I'll get this thing launching soon, within the next like month or so.
whether the
But
GoPro
that's
footage of it
3D
survives or
printed.
not will be a
Yeah,
different story. And if we have to get a new GoPro, but
yeah. Who knows? Hopefully it's fine. But that's what my GoPro's been used for so far before Midlands. So Midlands was kind of the first use of it, and it was good. The GoPro did what it needed to. I wish that they had. I know they have a 2 times zoom lens add-on, but it's for macro shots. I'm not sure how well that would work for shows. But hopefully they do make some 2 times zoom lens add-on because I found that looking for all the clips when I'm zooming in, I always tend towards 200% zoom, which is 2 times zoom for the best zoom for it. So if they made a 2 times zoom lens for it, that'd be perfect for it. But hopefully I can get better at using the GoPro. I know that I got some good clips of the red arrows, especially, um, as well as some good pictures of them. Me and Ollie both got pictures over the weekend of the red arrows. Um, they'll both be out on the thing that we'll probably talk about later in this episode, um, which we've been thinking about. So we'll talk a bit about that later. But yeah, the 3D printer, back to the 3D printed models. I hadn't actually thought about doing that, but now that you
Hmm.
mentioned that, probably should 3D print some plane models, because I have a Concorde from like Manchester Airport, and that's the extent of my plane models is this Concorde. So I probably should 3D print them at some point.
Well, this is the extent of my display cabinet, and don't forget there is also a lot more models on the top and bottom shelf than you think, considering the fact that the bottom shelf you can't see, it'd be like there. But let's try and stop that. Yeah, so you can see there's models there, like lots of models. You can't. That's an F-15. That's a Japanese F-15. There's also like loads of propeller planes. Zoom in. Don't know if you can see it really, but there's quite a lot of aircraft. There's one there, but yeah, it's got my LED lights on it, so you can't really see it. Then on this shelf, you can see the tornado actually a bit there. That's a bit of the tornado, but yeah, got loads of models there, and then there's more models at the top, but you can't really see them. But there's like good 20 models up there, if not more, and they're quite relatively big. So
Yeah, I do think models are very much a must-have, because it's a bit of aviation in your room. You can go to air shows and airports every so often,
yeah,
but you can't see those 24/7 unless you live like in an airport. Whereas a model in your room, you've got a bit of aviation history in your room at all times,
you know
and
what?
I think
Speaking
there's
of
something
that,
special about that.
yeah, I was gonna say. Speaking about that, I have a tornado engine part in my display cabinet. Now, let me see if I can find it. If I can't, I think it might be on the top shelf somewhere. I remember I moved it actually like 2 days ago. Ah, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, I know. I know I have a bit of history as well. I have a Spitfire bullet. I don't even know where it is, but I know I have a Spitfire bullet somewhere. I don't even know if we can show that on YouTube. They're a bit
Well, you can.
sensitive about that. Oh, well, if they are sensitive about it, yeah, that. We both have very similar ones, if not the same ones. But it's just something that you can know you have, and there's only a limited amount of things like that.
So this is the
Um,
tornado
that's
engine part, which I
that's cool.
bought. And this is from an actual tornado. This is from a retired, dismembered tornado. You could buy small pieces of the engine fan from the. I think this was at Sywell or Little Granston, I think. One of the two. And this has stayed with me forever. I've always had it in my display cabinet. It's such an awesome piece to have an actual piece of a serve or a pre-serving tornado in my bedroom. This is a serious piece of history that I was holding. Well, I just put down out of my hands.
Yeah, it's just so cool to have things like that. I would one day love to have. I mean, I always see that they're like auctioning off old Red Arrow jets, and I'm like, if I had the money, I'd love to do that
Yeah,
just so I can have one. I wouldn't know where to put it or what to do with it, but it's a piece of history that you're never gonna get again. So it's always worth, if you're finding things like that, to just pick them up, because you never know
yeah.
if that's
And that
gonna
was like
be
£5
a
for a
one-time
piece of
thing.
an actual RAF tornado. That
Yeah,
piece probably cost like 10 grand to replace. If you total your engine, that probably costs you 10 grand, and I bought it for a fiver. So yeah, it was really really awesome to see. But we should probably move on. So we talked about the hot air balloons. We talked about the RC model aircraft, which they weren't just pyrotechnics. I did enjoy the non-pyrotechnical displays. I think there's a Hawk T2 or 2000 or some sort of Hawk. There was also there was P-47s. There was also Wildcats and Bearcats and stuff like that. So a lot of World War II or Vietnam sort of era uh, aircraft. But the first display of the day was a DA-42, which has never been seen in the UK since about 1993. I believe Farnborough Air Show when it first got released. So this is like one of the first times ever a DA-42 has flown in the UK for a display. Flown by a man called Jason Buglas, which is Bruce Buglas's dad, and he commentated the Ravens, which we'll get onto later. We got some quite good photos of the DA-42, which might be edited by the time of this podcast, might not be, but I've got hundreds to edit at this point.
Yeah, I got some good GoPro footage. This was kind of the first one of the days. Like, this was my tester. This was me testing if the GoPro worked. So I took a considerable amount of GoPro
Yeah.
videos of each pass, just to see if it works. And then I found out that I didn't know how to actually look back at the videos. But in terms of the actual display, it was a very, very good display. It's not something that I think I've seen at a display before. Um, it was a unique one. It was a twin engine. It was doing some quite quick, quite low passes. Got plenty of good pictures of it.
Well, it definitely wasn't low. I'll tell you that. It was definitely not a low aircraft. The thing was hovering
There
about
was
a
one or
thousand
two
feet in the air, but
slightly low. Yeah.
it was
I
definitely the
mean, I was
highest
looking at it
display of
with
the
a
day.
600mm lens,
Well, yeah, I'm
so
at a 400, so I'm at even less. But
yeah.
it was awesome. It was a great display. I mean, I see them all the time at my local airport. I mean, I used to work at a company that like a flight training school that uses the like 5DA42. So it's something that I've worked on. It's something that I've seen pretty regularly. It's something that I almost flew in once actually. So yeah, it was. It's not something that's new to me, but it's something new in the display circuit.
Yeah, it's funny that you was actually talking about the DA42 being at your local airport, because when I got back from Midlands, there was a DA42 flying around outside my house, right out of my bedroom window, and I was like, we gone 2.5 hours, these planes, and there's one of them outside my house the second we get back. And it happened when I went to the Mac Loop one time. The only plane we saw was an A400, and for the first time since living in this house for over 10 years, there was an A400 flying around my house when we got back from the Mac Loop. The same A400 that we saw in the Mac Loop. It's just bad luck follows me around, I guess. But I guess that does bring us on to the Sunday's display routine, which started with the DA42, and we can just go through and one by one rate the display routine, rate the display. And I'll start with the DA42. I think it was good. It's a somewhat regular aircraft I see flying around my house all the time, but in terms of a display with it, I think they did a very, very good job with it.
Yeah, I mean it was awesome. I believe this was Jason's first ever display, but he is a like airline pilot. He's flown tens of planes. He's flown loads and loads and loads. But I believe this was his first ever public display in the DA42. So he did start. He was quite high the whole time. I know Joey, you had a 600mm lens, but for me, he was very very high, at least 500 to 1,000 feet. And for him, he could fly, I believe, as low as 200 feet. So he was well over double the minimum height restriction, which is fair enough. It was just very hard to get pictures of because it's quite far out and quite high. But the display itself, it flowed quite nicely. It never really stopped at any point other than near the end. So I'd probably rate the display overall about a 6 out of 10, because it was about 4 or 5 passes long. It wasn't too long. It did flow quite nicely, but again, it was quite high. It was quite far back. It wasn't and especially a white plane against like white background wasn't the easiest plane to see.
Yeah, I mean, I personally rate it in terms of what you can do with the DA42. I'd have to give it a 7.5, maybe even an 8. But as an overall display for an air show, as a personally more of a fighter jet, I would probably give it a 6. Like I prefer fighter jet displays, but for a propeller aircraft display, especially a DA42, I think it was pretty good. It was a little bit high, as you said, but I mean, if it's one of his first displays in it, you don't really want to risk it going too low. But yeah, overall, I'd give it a 7. A mix between what you can do with the DA42 and the display as a whole. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Which brings us on to Catalina, which I see a lot. I see it every single time I go to Blackpool Air Show, every single time I go to Southport Air Show. Pretty familiar with the aircraft, pretty familiar with the displays. I do see it arguably a bit too much now, so I'm going to try and unbiased review. It's a good display. For that aircraft, there's not a whole lot you can do with it because it's quite big, it's quite slow. But it is quite unique, so I will have to give it a 6 out of 10, just because I see it too much.
Or not, because my phone's gonna fall again. Okay, yeah, that's all right. Yeah, the Catalina is always a great aircraft. It's quite a rare aircraft in Europe, and I believe one of the only ones in Europe, as well as the B-17, which we'll get onto later. But yeah, again, it's a white aircraft against a white background, it's not always the easiest to get pictures of. Yes, it's a much bigger plane, so that makes it easier, but it's not always the easiest aircraft to get pictures of, unfortunately. Still a great display. The pushing the max out of the Catalina, really, there's not really, you can't really do much with it. It's not very fast plane, it's not very agile plane, as it wasn't designed for that. So overall, again, probably about 6.5 out of 10, mainly because I see it quite a lot, and I've never really seen the display change over the years. But it's still quite a good display, pushing the max out of the aircraft. Again, it's just a white aircraft against a white background and a very common display. Nothing against them. Absolutely love this Catalina team. They do a great job restoring that. It is just not my kind of display, and I'm not saying I don't like slow displays, because I love slow displays. They're much easier to get photos of, but it's just something that I've seen over and over and over, and it's not boring. It's more just repetitive.
And the swordfish, the was next. See, it's an interesting one, is the swordfish, because once again I see it a lot. It's somehow harder to get pictures of because it's dark on a
Yeah.
grey background. But I quite like the waving fella in the back.
Yeah, you did say that. You said to
I
your mum
quite
was like,
like
"Oh
it.
yeah, is this the one with the waving fella in the back?" Your mum said
Yeah,
that
I
over
quite
and
like the
over.
waving fella in the back, so that puts it up at least 1 or 2 points for me. So it's a good display. There's not a whole lot you can do with it. Once again, it's one of these old aircraft. You can't really do a whole lot, but you can have a waving fella in the back, so it's got to be a 7 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, agreed. 7 out of 10. It's a beautiful aircraft. It's probably, I don't see it that much, to be honest. I know you see it at probably Blackpool, Southport, Midlands, all these air shows up by you. But it's, I mean, considering the fact it's based about 2 hours, if that, away from me, it's not very common around my area. But yeah, it's an awesome display. 7 out of 10. Beautiful aircraft. Waving fella out the back. And again, pushing the display to the max. It's just not completely up there like this next display being the MiG-17, which is, wow, it blew me and Joey away. It was a beautiful display, really pushing the limits of that MiG-17, blooming going up in Mach 500 into the atmosphere, full afterburner with, well, a full carrot burner or something, as my mum calls it. I think something like that, because it doesn't look like an afterburner, because it like, so it'll go like that, and then it'll like
It's
stutter,
ethanol,
and then it'll
isn't
go,
it?
yeah.
They
So,
put ethanol into it. Instead
yeah.
of injecting fuel into it, they inject ethanol because it was one of the first aircraft with afterburner. So they didn't quite know what to do with it. So they did
Yeah,
ethanol
and
instead,
for
which makes
some
it a very unique afterburner.
silly reason, we, as in the UK, not me and Joey, but us in the UK, gave the Russians the Rolls-Royce Nene engine, which is the best engine at the time, and we decided to give it to the Soviets, which was not the smartest idea, to say the least. Don't know what they were doing. Don't know what sort of catastrophic bombshell was going on back then. But yeah, they ended up the Rolls-Royce Nene engine, which they then added the ethanol afterburner to. I have to say 9.5 out of 10. I think it's probably going to be one of the highest, if not the highest, of the entire weekend, especially on the Sunday. That was so beautiful. It was the best display. There were so many topside passes, which is just ups the score by at least 2, because that's you do, because the thing is, loads of displays they do like backside, like bottom passes. This is like the bottom of the aircraft. For example, I'll get the Typhoon here. I don't know if I can pull it out of the stand. I'm not going to try and break it. But they'll do that. So they'll go this. They'll do loads of passes like this. What we want to see is this side. This side is never seen on an aircraft. You never see this during displays unless they do a pass like this. Because obviously, they're always coming around and then doing like that. What me and Joey love is when the aircraft come from sort of next to the crowd and then bank around like that. It's like you get to see the most detail on the aircraft. You get to see the top side a lot more than you see on the bottom, really. And it's just so much better for getting photos.
Yeah, like you said, Sundays was the best day for it. I was only there on the Sunday, so I kind of got the best of it. And I gotta say, it's not quite a 10 or a 9.5 for me, just because it was a little bit short. It was a little bit short, and because it's grey on grey background. I'm sure doing it when it's sunny, it's a lot easier to get pictures of, but it's a very silver aircraft. It's a relatively short compared to some other displays. I have to give it a 9 because it's very unique aircraft. I've never seen it before. It's a Cold War jet that I've grown up seeing pictures of. It is still a 9, but I felt it could have been a little bit longer.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. That's completely fair. I mean, on the Friday, sorry, there was like 4 passes long because the pilot didn't get the display line quite right. He was really far, so he came in for the initial pass completely fine, and then he decided to go do the display like over the trees at the back. So it's just like not quite sure that's where you're supposed to be doing the display, buddy. But yeah, so that was a very very short display, unfortunately, on the
I did
Friday.
I I did like how the MiG used the trees to its advantage for the
Mm,
final you can't really call it a pass because it didn't pass. The final maneuver, I did like how it used the
yeah,
trees to sort
it'd have
of,
been
well,
nicer if it came
completely
closer
hide
though. That's
itself.
the only thing. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm not sure where those trees start and end though, so it does make sense that it had to pull up early. But it did, I mean, the GoPro
yeah,
footage will speak for itself if it's in there. But it hid behind the trees and then pulled up, presumably at the last minute next to the trees, which is just a great photo opportunity. It's a cool part of the display. So it's probably um we'll let the rankings speak for themselves, but based on where we are at now, I would say probably the best display of the day.
yeah, definitely. I mean, the clip will be playing while we're speaking, probably. Well, most likely will be playing while we're speaking. So yeah, it was really cool. Brilliant display, beautiful aircraft, very rare aircraft, and well, I'm so glad it didn't go tech, because so many aircraft have been going tech or just haven't finished their pre-season maintenance checks. I heard for Cosford, by the time this is out, there's 2 Spitfires that have been cancelled. Apparently, there's also a P-51 and F-86 Sabre being cancelled as well. So Cosford's looking. It's sort of doing a reat and just saying nah and cancelling, unfortunately. Um, but we move on to the Reds' arrival, which is quite a good part of the day, to be honest. I mean, you always love to see 3 Red Arrows helicopters coming in. I mean, that's never been seen before at Midlands, from what I know. 3 Red Arrows helicopters, pretty much one, and then one was there. They're sort of like in a, what do you call it, like an echelon formation, just not like that instead of like one on both sides. But yeah, it was quite good. Got some good pictures. Hopefully, I haven't actually got to Sunday yet. I think I'm on Saturday at the moment for my pictures as of time of recording. But so hopefully we'll get some. I know Joey's got posted a picture already, I believe, of the Red Arrow's arrival.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, music included because they blasted some great music. My favorite part of the day, to be honest. I wouldn't consider it a display, which is why I said the MiG was probably the best display. But in terms of favorite moment of the day, it's probably the Reds arriving. It's very rare you see 3 helicopters that close to each other, and it's very rare that those 3 helicopters land that close to you, especially in the slipstream enclosure. I mean, they were so close that when they took off, we had grass blades flying at us.
Yeah,
Like, where else are you going to get 3 helicopters so close that that happens? So, if we're rating that as well, I'm gonna have to say it's a 9.5. The only reason I'm not gonna say it's a 10 is because it didn't last that long.
yeah.
It was maybe 5 minutes from seeing them to them landing and then them taking off again. Um, but I feel like the best they can do. They can't really leave the helicopters there. Like
No, they did leave
they
the
can't just
helicopters
land them
though.
and then leave them there.
Well, they didn't let.
They
Okay, they
left.
didn't leave them there,
They
but they did.
moved them.
Yeah, they were
They
at
moved
Midlands. They
them.
just moved
But
them
in terms
around.
of
Yeah.
from when we could see them, it was a little bit short, but I mean, other than that, it was the best part of the day in my opinion. So 9.5 easily for
Yeah,
me.
fair enough. I mean, I can't say the same for me. I'd say it's probably about a 7. But yeah, I mean, it was quite a good part of the day. Definitely wasn't bad. But yeah, probably about a 7 for me. Which takes us on to the stomps. Now, the stomps are very interesting. It's definitely I have to say it's definitely at least an 8.5. You wouldn't think a biplane like that would be going upside down and doing all these aerobatic maneuvers, but he does. Richard Ward in his red and white painted stomp, beautiful liveries by the way, for the stomp display team. So yeah, it was definitely a very good display. Definitely at least 8.5 for me because it's just so cool what you can do with the stomp.
Yeah, I think I'll have to agree with you on the 8, especially because there's so many different colors that they have that while there's one of them that's white, which isn't great for taking pictures of on a white background like clouds, the other ones aren't white. So you've got a range of colours for photography. You've got the red, you've got the other one's yellow, I believe, and you've got the white. So if it's a clear day, you can get all three. If it's not, you can still get two of them, and the other one you can still get. It's just not going to be as good. But in terms of the display itself, it was entertaining. I know on the Sunday you went to go and interview some of the Reds, but you could still see it, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was watching the display, and it was a very good display. I would have to give it an 8.
Well, do you know what? Speaking of the Reds, this is the very quick interview I got with Red One, John Bonds. It was actually a 2-question interview, but it was the best I could get because there was like a line of at least 200 people waiting to get signatures and stuff from the Red Arrow. So I wasn't going to take it too long, but he did. I said, "Can I get a quick, 2-question interview?" And he's like, "Yeah." So this is the interview, and I hope you guys enjoy. Hello, mate. Introduce yourself and what you do.
I'm Wing Commander John Bond, Red One from the Red Arrows.
Are you looking forward to today's display?
Very much so. It's a great crowd here. It's a lovely sight to display. Hopefully the sun will come out later.
Thanks a lot, mate. Appreciate it. So now we have that interview out of the way, we can move on to the P51 Mustang.
With the same engine in the same time it takes to
Isabel Rutland. She's, I believe, also based at Duxford. And it was a beautiful display, as usual. The P51, just a beautiful aircraft, beautiful sounding engine. Obviously, you have the whistle of the Mustang that we've put up before, and hopefully that might be our new intro, if not the Spitfire, because our current intro is the exact same Spitfires we saw at Midlands this year. So the Ray Hanna Spitfire, which we'll get to later.
Yeah, I mean the P51's it's a classic, as in you see it at some quite a few air shows, but it never gets old. That whining as it goes past is just very unique to that aircraft. And in terms of the display, I thought it was very good this year. I know that it changes up a little bit every so often, and I thought this year's was very good. It's a little bit hard to get pictures of when it's cloudy, but that's no fault of the display. I'm gonna give it an 8.5 because it just never gets old.
Yeah, I have to agree. The aircraft, the pilot, and the display all together make it an 8.5, if not pushing a 9. Well, maybe like an 8.7 for me. It was definitely a great display. Great pilot. Obviously, she's lovely, Isabel. She did a fly past with the B-17 last year for like remembrance and stuff at Little Granston. So they always do like a 2-minute silence with all the like religious ceremony stuff. I don't know. It's like reading off the Bible or something. I don't know. It's something to do with religion, but I don't really. I'm not religious myself, so I don't really know what's going on. I just wait for the aircraft. And last year it was the B-17 Sally B with Maranello Mustang, so it was very good, very cool last year seeing that, and then obviously she went into her display, and then this year it was quite good. So yeah, probably about an 8.7 for me. I know it was also Ando's favourite display. He loves the Mustang. He said it's his first ever aircraft that he saw other than, the first thing he saw in the sky other than a bird. There we go. And speaking of Ando, this is the interview I got with him on the Saturday evening as the balloons were going over. There'll also be some pictures during this one because of the balloons and stuff. We mentioned the balloons. So enjoy this quick interview. Well, I say quick. Enjoy this 5-minute interview with Ando, and we'll see you in a minute. Hello, mate. Second interview of the day. So introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Peter Anderson, I'm from Sydney, Australia, and I'm one of the commentators here and have been since day one.
And when did Midlands Air Festival start then? Because I've only been coming here for 4 years now.
Well, it's been going for quite a while. One of the royals was actually married on the very first show because we were further up the hill here, and we had to have big screens for the wedding.
So is this your first commentary air show, or have you been to other commentary events? I know you said you were from Australia. Do you do commentary over there?
I do quite a lot of commentary there for Paul Bennett air shows, for the RAAF, for the Navy, and for Temora Aviation Museum.
So what's your favourite air show that you've commentated at? Would you say Midlands, or are some of the ones in Australia bettering the ones in the UK?
You can't beat Flying Legends at Duxford. I was fortunate enough to do commentary there for 4 shows.
I mean, that's awesome. I mean, Midlands Air Festival is an amazing show. What's your favourite aspect about it, and what's your favourite thing to commentate on?
The way that the crowd reacts, it's a very family friendly. It has a great feel about it. Everybody has a good time. At the moment, your viewers can't see what's going on here, but we've got a big balloon ascent going on here, and everybody is eyes to the sky. They're all interested. You don't have kids running around playing football. They're all watching what's going on, all the inflations and what have you. It's the family friendly feel.
So, out of all the things that happen here, so you have ballooning, flying, models, what's your favourite display or event that you've seen today?
Marinelle, by far. The first thing that I saw in the sky that wasn't a bird was a Mustang. In fact, it was a number of Mustangs coming back from HMAS Albatross on the south coast of New South Wales. They'd done an exercise with Royal Australian Navy Sea Furies. So I've always had a soft spot in my heart for it. And I wrote a history of RAAF and RNZAF Mustangs when I was 17.
Yeah, the Mustangs are really awesome aircraft. I mean, Marinelle I've seen quite a few times at little grandstand and places like that. Is it your favourite Mustang? Do you have a favourite Mustang, or is it just any Mustang that you love?
I love all of them, but there are a few around that. There's one that's being built in the States now called Enchantress.
Yep.
It's part of the 504th Fighter Group that operated on the VLR missions in the Pacific. There's a lot of people don't know what happened in the Pacific. They don't know what happened in Vietnam. So it's good to be able to have a point of difference and to get that information across.
Well, thank you so much for this interview. This will be second interview of the day, like I said, so thank you very much.
No worries, thanks very much, and keep going with it because it's a great thing you're doing.
Thank you very much, mate.
Cheers.
So we do hope you enjoyed that quick 5-minute interview with Ando. He's a great guy, really, really awesome guy. He's the guy that interviewed me and Joey in the commentary box on the Sunday, which we played earlier in the day, in the podcast, not the day. God, it's too late. It's 10:30 at night, guys.
Yeah, and now we move on to the Strike Masters, which I've seen before. They're a very good pair. I have to say, and I'm sure you'll agree with me on this, they're a bit far away.
Yeah.
Like for a lot of them, and for the fly pasts that they do, they are pretty good with getting on the display line. But in terms of the breaks and stuff that they do go quite far out for it, and I
Yeah.
think this is something that they've been doing since even last year when we went to Blackpool. They were quite far out as well. I mean, I was using 600mm fully zoomed in, and they filled up like a quarter of the frame at most for the breaks. But in terms of the actual display itself, I thought it was good. It was hard to see because they were far, but through my 600mm lens, I got quite a unique perspective on it. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 7.5 because in terms of the display, it's good.
Yeah, I mean, I give it probably about 6 just because of the distance they are from the crowd. They are so far. I did tell Joey, look, these guys are going to be really far back. And he was like, I don't think they are, buddy. And then he was like, I've got 600mm anyway. Then the second they come in, they're bloody 10 miles south of the display line. It's like, where even are they? But yeah, it's a great display. It's quite a nice duo display. It's definitely not bad. I mean, the Strike Masters change hands every 2 or 3 years, just like the Red Arrows. They switch pilots and stuff around and all that. But yeah, great display. I mean, one of the current Red Arrows pilot, I believe Ollie Suckling, he was one of the pilots of the Strike Masters. So yeah, it was. I mean, I bet he was thinking, oh, that's my display in the Strike Masters was much better than it is now. But he's in the Red Arrows now. He's, I believe, Red 7, Red 6 or 7, I think.
Red 6, one of Synchro anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. One of Synchro, but yeah, I mean 6 for me, just because of the distance that they are out. It's quite far, really.
Yeah, and now we move on to the extra 300. Now I have to say, going into it, I knew it would be good, but I didn't expect a whole lot from it. But I thought it was very good. The green smoke pods on the wings as it's hovering in the air, didn't expect that. I thought it was great. The livery's great. The lighting also improved at the time, so it did. The red and white livery, yeah, I thought it was great. Um, you're looking confused there.
The extra 300 doesn't have green smoke pods. You're thinking about the Yak 54. You're thinking
No,
about the
I'm
model.
thinking
The model
correct. No, I'm
definitely
thinking.
had green smoke pods. The X300 has white just smoke from underneath the aircraft.
I mean, some of the pictures I got of the extra 300 with people in it definitely had the green on the wings. No, unless they
No,
look very, very similar.
the X300 doesn't have smoke on the wings. It has pyros on the wings for the Friday night glow, but it never. I've never ever seen. I will get.
I deleted the video actually, because I needed more phone storage. If we'll get back to you in a minute
Some
once
high
we
pitched as well.
once we found out the truth.
So we figured out Joey was thinking of the Yak 54, as I did say. He was thinking about the Yak
In all
54.
fairness, they are both red, white, and are prop aircraft with smoke trailing from the back of
But
them.
one's a
They,
half-size model of a Yak 54, and
yeah,
one
one
has a
is
pilot in
small.
it.
I remember my dad was like, "That's not a real plane, is it? Because that's a
Funny
very
that, yeah.
small plane." And I was like, "Yeah, it's not real." But point still stands as the extra 300 display. I kind of merged the two in my head because they look pretty similar. But the extra 300 display was good. Didn't have the green smoke on the wings. Maybe they can add that one next time. But in terms of the display for the extra 300, not the Yak 54, I thought it was good. I mean, it's your typical extra 300 display. You know, roll it quick, do some quick maneuvers with it, show its maneuverability. But I'm gonna give it, because I quite like the livery. I got some great pictures of it. I'm gonna give it a 7.5, maybe an 8.
Yeah, I mean, I'd give it about an 8. I mean, I was doing some practice commentary on it with Adam from Plains TV. So, I mean, I got to commentate the fake display. Sorry, fake commentate the actual display. Um, let's just say I should have just read my notes instead of trying to be clever and then read off my notes. Because instead of so basically in my notes, one of the passes where it goes up like that, right, and then does some like tumbles. Instead of just saying the plane pulls up, do you know what I said? I said the plane pulls vertical because I thought I was being clever. I thought I was adding an extra technical word in it, and it was going to do that. No, I should have read off my notes and said the plane or Chris pulls up. I never said I wouldn't have said vertical plane. Chris pulls up before repeating his tumbling maneuver from earlier. But no, I thought I'd be clever and say, oh, he's pulling up into the vertical again.
Yeah, he didn't do that.
He didn't know. He didn't. He did
He
exactly what I said
didn't
he would
know.
do. If I had, well, he did exactly what I said he would do in my notes. So
Yeah, I mean, I saw them notes. I couldn't decipher it. It looked like hieroglyphics, but you knew what they meant, so it makes sense.
it's fine. I mean, I'll get
Um,
the notes up now. I mean,
he
you
was
won't be able to
he was
read
like on the
it,
other
but
side of the fence, showing like you asked me to go and pick it up for you. It
oh,
was especially the bit of paper that had it
the
on
paper. Yeah, well, that's all the notes that I had for it.
the
I
paper.
don't know where the
Yeah,
paper is actually. I'm gonna be real. I probably put it in the bin. I'm not even gonna lie.
yeah, you had a piece of paper that had like sketches.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, it was a good piece of paper. I don't know if I still have it. I mean, it might be somewhere in my camera bag. I'm not even gonna lie, but I don't know where it is, to be honest. It's not that. No, it's not that. It's not in my pocket, so I don't know where it is. To be fair, it's good. Basically, it was like a piece of paper about this big, and it just had lines on it, basically showing the display. I know what it meant because I can read, visually read. Joey just doesn't understand the mechanical comprehension behind the statistical statistics of an aircraft
But
display.
you imagine hieroglyphics, right? This guy asked me to. He was over the barrier and was like, "Can you pass me that piece of paper with all the lines on it?" And it was just a bunch of scribbles. I mean, I figured out what it was, but I couldn't tell you what it meant. Like, I figured out it was the display routine, but I couldn't tell you what each bit went. Like, I assumed that the zigzaggy bits was him tumbling down, which I think was correct. As you can see, he's drawing his own reenactment of it now. But yeah, I mean, I didn't hear any of the commentary because I was watching the planes, and you was busy doing that. But from the sounds of it, it went alright with a few hiccups. But also, didn't he change like 2 maneuvers?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Basically,
you was doing
this
commentary
isn't the
for the
full
wrong
display, but
maneuver.
this is pretty much what it would what it looked like. So basically,
Yeah, can
he comes.
anyone else
Yeah, well,
for the
I'll let
teeth?
you guys have
Like
a
the
moment to think.
dinosaur.
Joe, is that in frame? I can't really see.
That is in frame. There's
So
dinosaur teeth on it and some zigzaggy
he
lines.
starts up here, right? He comes in from 45 crowd, so he would be coming in like this way, like that, right? So he comes in that way. He goes down, as you can see. I don't know where the pen is. This goes down. Joey, is this anywhere near right? Yeah, he goes down. There we go.
Yep.
And on the way, he does 3 rolls. That's what this is. He does 3 rolls. So he goes down like that. Then he pulls up for a maneuver known as the Mulleroid, where he goes, where he goes up, does 3 more rolls on the, or you know, aileron rolls on the way up. He then falls back in a flat spin, so he goes round and round in a flat spin. He then pulls up for a, goes up again, and he goes for a downwards tumble. He then comes along back to the display. He goes up for a stall turn. He then comes back. He does an aileron roll. I think he pulls up, but I can't actually remember. And then, comes back for a loop. So it's pretty simple at the end of the day. It's not exactly the hardest thing ever, but I mean, Joey just doesn't understand the mechanical comprehension behind an aircraft display. Is all I'm saying.
I'm not sure that's a correct term or even a term at all.
Oh, do you know what?
But
Do you know
you know,
what? Do you know what? Do you know what?
oh, it's there.
Guess what I've just found? Right, here we go with the mechanical comprehension. So, again, here, he comes down, like I said, he comes down for 3 rolls. He then pulls up for 3 more rolls in a maneuver known as the Mulleroid. So, he then goes down in a flat spin, as you can see, spin, spin, spin. He then goes up for a maneuver known as the downwards tumble. So, then he goes down. When there's, oh yeah. And then you can see this dotted line means like this, can't really see, the dotted line basically means like smoke, so the smoke would like dot instead of like being full. Then he would go up for a stall turn. It would then cut back down. He'd go up here, and then obviously do some spins and spins, and he would tumble back down towards the earth. Where are we? And then then he goes into a loop. Wait, it's a loop or something on the B axis or something like that. I believe it was. He then. Where are we? Then he comes back. He goes basically this is the maneuver. What I said. Was it that one? Oh, okay, this was the first one. So this one I got correct. It was this one, which I'll get to. So basically, he pulls up like this. So, for example, with the Typhoon, he pulls up like this. He then like throws the aircraft around, so it does something like that, basically. So he does that. Which again, I got right the first time, and I said he was tumbling through the air like a washing machine. Exactly. Even Adam said that was great. Adam said that was awesome. Then he comes round. He turns around.
GCSE to use.
Yeah, he comes back round, and then he just pulls up into a 3/4 loop, and then he goes away from the crowd. He then comes back, and then does a where is it? Can't really see. And then he does a flat spin towards the earth before coming back, and then going that way. Where are we now? He turns around and then just does an aileron roll, which is there. He just does an aileron roll, and then again. This is what. Oh no! Then he does a heart. Yeah, he does a heart. There you go. He does a heart. Then he comes back round, and this is the maneuver where he said he was going to pull vertically up. I knew full well that he wouldn't have pulled vertically up, but I decided that my brain was going to say that anyway. Don't know why. So he did the exact same maneuver as he did there before, which I don't know why I didn't just say what I was going to say. And he comes back round for. Can't see. For some sort of roll. I think slow roll. That's what it is. He comes back round for a slow roll. And then he comes back round and he just has a knife edge pass to finish. So exactly, it's pretty mechanically uncomprehensive of Joey to not understand any of this.
I mean, even you got part of it wrong. Anyway, moving on.
Any of it wrong.
Moving on. We have the Reds leaving, which I'll be honest was pretty uneventful. You could see them walking past us, and then they went into helicopters that were at the other side of Ragley Hall, and then they took off and stayed at the other side of Ragley Hall. So you could only really see them come up from behind the trees and then go away from us.
Yeah.
So in terms of relative compared to the Reds arriving, probably a 3. But I don't think they were trying to put on a spectacle at that point. They did the walk along the flight line, or the crowd line. That was good. So that bit was maybe bumping up to a 5 because we got to wave at like Red 1 and that.
I mean, they could not care less. I think they're waving at the commentators the entire time because I was still in the bit with Adam after the X300. All they were looking at was like Ando and Helen in the commentary box. I don't think they looked at the crowd once when they were walking past because I waved at them and I was just below the commentary box. They didn't even look at me once. So
yeah, Red one of them looked at me when I waved at them, but I think that was it.
Yeah.
But As far as that's concerned, that may be 4 or 5. But it wasn't a display. It wasn't really a part of the
Yeah.
show. They just had to leave at some point. So it makes sense that it wasn't this big spectacle.
Yeah, so then we had the Sea King helicopter. Unfortunately, no whirlwind, so that's going to take it down 3 points, in my opinion, because they cancelled it last second, and I was really looking forward to that demo. Not to put the Sea King demo down, because that was a beautiful demo, but I'm going to have to give it a 6, because the whirlwind wasn't there. And that was like the whole main spectacle was that they're a rescue pair, not the Sea King. The whole point of them coming was to be a rescue pair. So that unfortunately takes it down 3 points for me, but still 6 is still quite a relative score. If you think that would have been a 9 with the whirlwind, so they can't feel too disheartened. It was a great display by the Sea King. I love the Sea King, but without the whirlwind, it's just not. It's just not there for me. It's a great display, but it was advertised as a pair, and then it just wasn't a pair, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I have a different view on it because I'll be honest, I didn't really know what I didn't really know what it was a rescue pair going into it. I just saw a bright yellow helicopter on the ground when I got there, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna see that flying at some point. So I didn't go into it expecting a rescue pair, which is probably going to be why I rate it a bit higher. But in terms of the display, what you can do with a helicopter that big, I thought it was good. They dangled a dummy out the back of it, and he started spinning
His name.
really quick. That was good.
Do you know what? I'm gonna put a picture up on the screen right now of the guy at like a 90-degree angle against the helicopter.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
hoping it's a bit more of a smooth ride up there with an actual human. But he was spinning around a lot and
Bearing in
swinging
mind that it
around.
wasn't even a windy day either. There was not like a speck of wind
It
in
wasn't
sight.
windy, no. I mean, it is underneath a helicopter, so it does make sense. But I thought that was quite good. It was a bright yellow helicopter, so
It
it was
was,
a
yeah.
very good one to get pictures of. It was very good to get pictures of.
Well, you should probably say it is a
I'm
yellow
gonna give
helicopter. I don't think they've just magically changed the color overnight. To be fair, I think it's
it,
still
it
yellow.
is a bright yellow helicopter. I mean, I haven't seen it since. They could have painted it green for all I know.
Could
But
have.
I'm gonna say a 7.5, just because. Well, I'm not. Helicopter displays are great, but I'm more of a plane person. Helicopters, I love
Mm.
helicopters. But if I could see either a plane display or a helicopter display, I'm seeing a plane display. So helicopters are only really limited to like an 8 or a 9 for me. And I'm gonna give this a 7.5.
I mean, it sounds like Tung has an opinion, so we're gonna let Tung speak on the mic now. He's got an open mic for Tung, and Tung has just been whispering to me. Well, he hasn't because my headset's on, but Tung's been telling me through telepathy that the Sea King display was actually one of the best displays over the weekend because of the sheer size of the helicopter, but the sheer maneuverability and the skill of the pilots. So Tung thinks the Sea King is probably just behind the MiG, but obviously if it had the whirlwind, then it would be right up there level with the MiG, just because of what an awesome display it was. So Tung, our mascot, he is like the GOAT now of the podcast. He is the greatest of all time. He knows what he's talking about. He's like our genuine official. So he gives us red cards if we say something out of line. I mean, Joe's in the speed face, but yeah, Tung, he is like the master. He's like the owner of the podcast at this point. It might as well be called Tung's
Something
DisplayLine
like that,
podcast.
man.
Yeah.
Something like that, man. And moving on, I think we should move on from that. The Spitfire. I can't remember which one was first, the
Rihanna.
BBMF or the other one. Rihanna.
I
This
think
one
it
was the
was, yeah.
one from. This is the intro one, right?
Yeah, so this is the intro one. Big shout out to whoever video it is. It's not actually ours, which we should probably disclaim before we get like sued or whatever. Because like, I don't know. I mean, it is public domain and stuff, but Anyway, hopefully with Joe's GoPro footage, we are gonna now have a new Spitfire intro of our own, so that we don't get sued. And we should probably add like the MiG 17 like jet engine because that's also we also have a Typhoon display from somewhere. I don't even know. I made this up. Well, I just got random clips from YouTube and shoved them on the podcast, to be fair. So hopefully now we won't get sued
Yeah.
and we will have a brand new intro for this episode probably. So you probably noticed that at the start. But we'll see. I don't know. We might still get sued. Who knows? But yeah, it was a great display. Ray Hanna Spitfire, legendary Spitfire. Very beautiful livery, as you probably know because it's on every intro of the podcast. So you've been seeing that for the last 15 weeks. But yeah, great display. Probably a 7.5 out of 10. Regular Spitfire display, but who doesn't love a Spitfire?
Yeah, I mean, I have to give it a 7, maybe a 6.5, just because it was competing essentially against the BBMF Spitfire, which I personally preferred. But I stand alone. If that's going to any air show, it's going to be a 7.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I have to disagree with you on the BBMF one. I think the Rihanna one was better. But we'll get on to why I think that later in the podcast, which is like 5 hours long at this point. Because it's now 11 o'clock, which is awesome, isn't it, really? Anyway,
Yeah,
Ravens. What do we think about the Ravens, Joseph?
I loved it. I'm just going to say that. I know that it's not everyone's cup of tea because some people go to places. I know that I've said numerous times that I'm like a jet person more than a proper aircraft person, but formation display teams have always got a special place in my
Well,
heart.
it's about the only one we've got bloody
Ravens,
left in the UK now. The Red Arrows are about to
yeah,
blow up.
Ravens,
I don't think we
yeah,
actually
Ravens
have.
and Reds have nearly the same amount of
Mm,
planes, to be
yeah,
fair. But
no, they actually do. Do you know what? They actually have 7
yeah,
aircraft. They have for 7
oh,
Ravens. They
I mean
only
the
had
Reds have
5,
10.
but yeah, but
The
they don't
Reds
like
do have
fly though,
10.
innit? They just don't fly.
They do fly past.
Red
But
6 was just
I quite
a
like the
Raven
Ravens
6.
display. The Ravens display I thought was good. I mean, it's basically the same thing every year. There's a few maneuvers different. I love the new livery though. The new livery is
Yeah,
great.
it's very nice. Yeah.
I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
Fair enough. I mean, I have to agree with you. At least an 8. I mean, it was an awesome display. The Twizzles is always I mean, it's their trademark maneuver, and it's my favourite maneuver that they do. So it's always an awesome maneuver. But yeah, I have to give it an 8. Nothing wrong with it. I mean, it was um, pretty flawless. But again, it's pretty average for a display team. Well, it's above average for a display team, but it's nothing like like they're not passing it 1 millimeter and almost crashing and giving everyone a heart attack, which is exactly what I look for, because drama and all that in it. Nah, I'm joking, but either way, it's just quite a nice display team. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing insane for it. It's got great stuff about them. There's just not something insane that pushes it to like a 9 or something. So, just before we move on to the next aircraft, which is very similar, we're going to put a short interview here of my interview with Raven 1. So, it was quite a nice interview, great guy, and we do hope you enjoy. Hello, do you want to introduce yourself and what you do?
Yeah, I'm Simon Shirley and I'm Raven 1, team leader for Team Raven, a 6-ship formation aerobatic team from Wales.
And how did you get into this amazing team? It was a beautiful display today.
Thank you very much. So our 13th year of displaying, so 2014 I think was our first year, and we just got together as a bunch of mates, really, decided to form a formation team, and all bought the same aeroplane. Started off initially as a 5 and then it's graduated to a 6, briefly a 7 last year. We're normally a 6 and we're a 5 today because number 6 is ill.
So, do you want to tell us about your aircraft? I mean, it's got a brand new, beautiful paint scheme on it.
So all the aircraft are actually painted base white. So these are decals, and every few years we just decide to change the scheme. So this is the 3rd one we've had, new one for this year, a bit more colourful. So yeah, very happy with it.
And what aircraft do you use? Have you used this aircraft since the start, or is this a newer form of the Vans sort of aircraft?
No, we've always been Vans RV8s. Apart from Stanfast, the first 4.5 years, I had a Vans RV4. These are all Vans RV8s, and I upgraded to an RV8 in 2019. 2019 I changed.
Well, it was a beautiful display, and are you going to be back here tomorrow on Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah, we've been doing all day, so what we're going to do tomorrow morning, we're going to come back here, we're going to take off, go back to Bidford, refuel, come back here, display and land here again, and stay here tomorrow night and display on Sunday with the same ethos.
And final question, have you always been Raven 1, or have you inherited this over the time?
No, they recruited me to be the leader from the scratch. So I trained a lot of the guys since 2003 in Yak 52s to do formation aerobatics, and we've always wanted to form a team together. And when we did form the team, it just fell to me that I was going to be the leader. And I've been the leader for 13 years.
Awesome, thanks for talking to me today, mate, and we'll go check out the podcast when it releases next week.
Cool, drop us a line.
Take care. So we are now back, and we'll be moving on to the next aircraft now, being the RV4, painted in a beautiful Mustang-styled themed livery. And Joey, what did you think of that?
I thought it was a pretty good display. It's one of those where it's a pop aircraft. There's not a whole lot you can do with it. So I think given what you have, it was a very good It's closed quite nicely. Really throwing that up and as much as you can. I'm gonna probably give it a 7. I think it is a solid display with what it has.
I mean, I really enjoyed the display. I'd probably give it maybe an 8, maybe an 8.5. It was an incredible display. I mean, a beautiful aircraft. Definitely not the most powerful aircraft ever, but he was throwing that aircraft around, like you said. It was very good energy management, and I have to say, overall, that's probably at least an 8 or 8.5 out of 10. Honestly, that livery as well is just beautiful, and it's awesome that he stayed for all 3 days, even for the flight line walk before departing much, much later. I think that was just after the break. I think he left, so it was great that he stayed for that, and he was one of the 3 aircraft left on the display on the flight line walk.
Yeah, the main one was gyrocopter, but in the background we had one Raven playing and RV4, so he was one of the only ones that we got an up close view of the plane for. But moving on to the market, now I have to say this was one of my personal favourites of the day. It's got a good livery, it's got good colours, red and white to get pictures on, as we said with the Insta 300, same with the red arrows. It's good to get pictures of red and white, and for the aircraft, I think it'll be a great display.
Yeah, I mean, same here, to be honest. I spoke to Mr. Grazzi himself. That's what the plane registration is, G-RAZI, which spells Grazzi because it's an Italian-made aircraft. And yeah, I have to say, I spoke to him. He's a really great guy. Responded really fast, actually. A lot of these display pilots these days just don't respond at all. They just don't. They're just not bothered. I know we've sent some. We're not going to say who, but obviously we have sent some messages off to some people who just haven't even responded or even looked at it. So yeah, it's a bit unfortunate with some. I mean, again, I'm not going to name who, but one of the pilots at the show that I spoke to said some of the pilots these days have a big ego and just don't respond to anyone, which is a bit unfortunate these days. But he was a lovely man. I believe his name's Paul. Lovely guy. He was messaging us saying, well, he literally messaged me saying, I hope he hopes that I enjoyed the display and everything. So I'll hopefully be getting some pictures out soon. I need to go through the rest of them with Joey because that's what I don't know. That's just what I was doing, and now I'm just waiting to show Joey the rest of them. And I've not even got to the Marquetta yet. I'm not even that far through on the Saturday, and yet unfortunately. But yeah, it was a great display from him. Beautiful, beautiful livery, as Joey said. Bit high again, like the DA42, but then I did speak to him and said that his limit is like slightly higher or something than everything else because he was doing like high energy aerobatics or something. I can't remember. I can't actually remember the reason, but he said that he had to be slightly higher just for the aircraft and display that he was doing. So we have just had some audio issues, as you could hear, as I was going through the podcast editing yesterday, which is why this is delayed, because there was the weird audio issues and Joey couldn't, unfortunately, record yesterday. So we're going to continue after that weird bug. Now, I don't know if that is the clip itself or if that's the Filmora software that I used doing that, because, I don't know, sometimes files can corrupt after the clip once you've put them into the editing software. So gyrocopter is where we got up to. So Joey, what would you rate the gyrocopter and why?
I mean, it's one of those things that I've seen a lot. I will be seeing it at least 5 times this year, probably about 5 times this year. It's something that I've grown up seeing. It's a solid display. It's a very unique aircraft. It's a good display. I would probably give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, fair enough. Nothing wrong with that. Gyrocopter. It's a unique display. It's a very dynamic display for a hybrid aircraft. It's not a helicopter, nor is it a plane, but it can do sort of strength and weaknesses of both. So I liked how he used the trees to his advantage, like you said with the MiG earlier, where he like dips down below the trees and stuff and used the valleys of Ragley Hall. I'd have to give it a 7. Nothing wrong with it. Quite a good display. But again, very repetitive. Like you said, you're seeing it like 5 times this year. I've already seen it 3 times this year, and I'll probably see it more. But yeah, nothing wrong with it. 7 out of 10.
Yeah, the next one is the Star Spangled Pearl with the B-17 and OV-10, which was I'm pretty sure, first time seeing either of those. I assume we're rating those individually because they
Yeah.
had their own little solo section. The B-17, I don't think I've ever seen that before. I thought it was a great display. There's not really a whole lot you can do with those bigger aircraft like that, but for what it was, I think they did a great job. I loved the two smoke pods on two of the engines on one wing. I thought that was pretty creative. Um, I would probably give this a 7 out of 10, just mainly because it's quite a big aircraft. There's not a whole lot of maneuvers you can do with it. It's mainly just fly pasts.
Yeah, fair enough. I'd probably give it probably about a 7 as well, to be honest. Again, pretty average display. I've seen it many, many times before. The display doesn't really change, to be honest. It's just fly past with smoke at the end. But yeah, like Joe said, there's not really much you can do with a World War II bomber aircraft. Same with a Lancaster, really. You can't do too much of that, really. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for me. And we'll move on to the Bronco, which I love. Such a beautiful sounding aircraft. The turboprop, just the brrrr, instead of just like an annoying whine of a normal aircraft. You know what I'm saying? No, but I just always love the Bronco. It's a rare aircraft. I saw it at Riyadh when it had like the poppies on the fuel pods on the bottom, which is pretty cool. I don't know where the photos of that are gone, unfortunately, but I don't know where any of my Riyadh photos are. And there's a high chance that I might not even be going next year at this point. So, yeah, nothing wrong with it. 7.5, 8, probably up there, probably 8, I would say, as my final rating. It was great display, and I love the smoke that it has on it as well.
Yeah, the OV-10 was the one that did strafing runs, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was probably my favorite part of it because I mean you see videos of like A10s doing it in America using random people's cars as a mock target, and I think it's a very creative thing to do. I think it was a great display, like you said, incredible aircraft. I would probably give this probably an 8 as well, around 8. So all round great display from the both of them.
So now we get onto the BBMF Spitfire. Now, Joey, you mentioned earlier that you preferred the BBMF Spitfire over the Rayhana Spitfire. Take us through why and what you rate this one compared to the Rayhana one.
I mean, it's it's kind of a very much a me thing, but I feel like just knowing that it's part of a group like that. I mean, you can see a Hawk T2 if you go to Valley, but if you see a Red Arrows Hawk T1 on its own, you're probably going to prefer that. I know that like the display routines are different, all that, but for me personally, just knowing what it's part of BBMF. Um, it just makes it that much better in my mind. I can't exactly remember what I gave the other Spitfire because I mean, we filmed that a few days ago at this point because of all
Yeah.
the issues with the audio, but I would probably give the BBMF Spitfire a 7.5 because it was an all-round great display, great sounding aircraft. There's not much more you can really say about it.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, Spitfire display's a Spitfire display. I'm pretty sure I said that in but the previous recording. Obviously, that I mean, you couldn't even hear Joey at like 9% of the time. As you could hear with the Marchetti that I've left in, just so we can compare what it like sounded like. It got even worse, which is why I decided to re-record it now. Joey, do you want to quickly, before we move on to, well, before I explain the BBMF, do you want to quickly try and say what you were talking about the Marchetti? You said that it has a beautiful paint scheme, which you could barely hear, but I believe it was an 8.5 out of 10 that you rated it. Well, that's just from what I was lip reading, and it looked like an 8.5.
Yeah, it probably would have been. Red and white aircraft for me is just my favorite color scheme to photograph. You got the red arrows, you got the things like the Danish F-16 at Riyadh last year. You've got things like the Extra 300. You've got things like the Marchetti. It's such a great backdrop to a blue or grey sky having that red. I mean, the white could be a little bit better because cloudy day, it's going to look grey, it's going to look white, but the red really adds to it in my opinion.
Fair enough. So BBMF Spitfire for me, I'm going to only have to say 6 because the BBMF was advertised as the Dakota Hurricane and Spitfire, and wouldn't you know it, the Dakota breaks down, about 5 Spitfires break down, a Hurricane breaks down, so At Torbay, they get a Spitfire and a Hurricane, and obviously at Midlands, we only got the Spitfire. So 6 out of 10 for me. Yeah, I just can't catch a break with the Dakota. It was supposed to go last year, broke down. Supposed to go to many air shows that I was going to, it all broke down. So yeah, 6 out of 10 for me.
And now we move on to the Firecat, which was definitely one of the most interesting displays of the day, or the weekend for you. It's the first time I've seen this aircraft. It's the first time I've seen it do what it's designed to do. It's the first time I've been to any airshow that has done that. I would probably have to give this an 8, just because it was a very unique display. It was, in terms of the actual display itself, it was pretty basic with some fly paths and stuff, but it dropping the water just bumped it up straight to an 8 for me. So it's a good display.
Well, I'd have to personally give it a 9. It was probably my second, if not third, favourite display. Dropping the water was so cool to see. I wasn't expecting it on the Sunday because people had been telling everyone different things, whether it would or not be dropping water. No one actually knew. So as soon as it came around for a second pass, I did not expect it to drop water, so I missed that mainly on the Saturday. But on the Sunday, obviously, I was yelling at Joey, telling him, look, it's going to drop water in roughly 10 seconds, and he was like, he was off in space. I had to tell him like 7 times before he actually like picked his camera up, and I was like, it's like raps for this guy. And then I told him obviously he'd do it again, and that time he actually listened, because I'm pretty sure the bird got in the way of the first one, so he wasn't very happy with that. But yeah, 9 out of 10 for me. Beautiful, beautiful display. Such a nice little aircraft, and I'd love to see it again next year.
And now we move on to one of my personal favourites of the day, which was the Harvard. Now, we had a great conversation with the pilot as well before his display. I can't remember what was flying at the time, but it was a great display. It was, I got arguably one of my favourite pictures of the day, of the Harvard. It was fully zoomed in at 600 millimeters, and it's definitely in my top 5 pictures of all time that I've taken. It's such a beautiful aircraft. Great display. Pretty, I don't want to say basic in terms of propeller-driven aircraft, because it did some loops and stuff, but I will say probably an 8, maybe an 8.5.
I'm going to give it an 8.5, but before I explain why, here is the interview me and Joey got with David Petters, the Harvard pilot. Hello, would you want to introduce yourself and what you do?
Yeah, hello, I'm Dave Petters. I'm flying the Harvard here at Midlands Air Fest this weekend. I fly Chipmunks, taxi Lancaster and the Mosquito, and airline pilot for the day job.
So, what is your favourite thing to display or even be in?
Oh, there's a question. The Lancaster and Mosquito are incredibly special, just because of what they are. For displays, somewhere between the Chipmunk and the Harvard. The Harvard does everything you wanted to. The Chipmunk is easy motoring. You jump in it like your car and you can just wear it. So, hard to choose a favourite. It's like choosing your favourite child.
Yeah, I mean, those are all great aircraft. I'm just wondering how you got into aviation.
Sorry, I'll say against the helicopter, sorry.
How you got into aviation in the first place.
Right, so that's a long story. I was taken to Duxford when I was about 6 by my granddad. Flew in the Dragon Rapide with classic wings. Loved it. When I was 12, I bought my first flying lesson, and I had my licence when I was 16. And from there, I was always going to be an airline pilot, so I did the ratings. But I always wanted to fly the old things. That's how I got into it. Duxford for every birthday and things like that. So I ended up flying Tiger Moths and then the Chipmunks, and asked to fly the Harvard. So kind of stepping up through that, really.
So how would you encourage young people to get into this industry?
Passion is the big thing. There's a lot of hurdles in your way as you're young and getting in, mainly financial. But if you can find a way to volunteer at an airfield or a gliding site and get that experience in, get the licence going, the doors will be open.
Awesome, thanks for your time.
Well, welcome.
So we do hope you enjoyed that. As the only interview that me and Joey actually got together, because I got most of the interviews on the Saturday and we just didn't find anyone on the Sunday. We couldn't interview the BBMF guys because they were like, nah. So I was like, alright. And like there was just like no Tutor this year, no Typhoon this year, barely a Red Arrow stall this year other than the Meet the Pilots. So very lack of pilots and team RAF team stalls at Midlands this year, which was disappointing. But yeah, I got one of my sharpest photos ever, as Joey will know. And obviously, by the time this is out, our photography account will have its first post on it, which will probably be about 7 or 8 o'clock tonight. And obviously, actually no, it might be 9 when the promo goes out. Still haven't decided that one yet. But But yeah, great display. David Pett is a really, really nice man. I spoke to him for the first time, not on Instagram and stuff there. Such a nice chap. He honestly, he literally was like, "Oh yeah, do you want to get posted on my Instagram?" Oh yeah, go on then. So yeah, there's a picture of me and Joey with him on the Instagram. Beautiful, beautiful energy management. Great, great display overall. 8.5 for me. So that is the bit that we needed to re-record because this next bit was fine. Should be fine. I haven't actually listened to it, but by looking at the audio graphs and seeing audio movement, it should be fine. If it's not, then you'll be seeing future me and Joey again. If not, do take care, and we will see you back in the main recording of the podcast. So take care, everyone, and we'll see you there. Speaking of the Red Arrows, now I only saw them once on the Saturday. I left before. Well, we could see them like running into the show on the Sunday as we were leaving. But great display. They went full, and I believe it was their second or third display because they'd also been to English Riviera. So joint debut display with English Riviera. Full display, absolutely beautiful. 7-ship. Not going to get into the political side of that, but let's just say me and Joey are not fans of that, but we're not going to express our hatred for the new 7-ship and Red Arrows this year. We're going to talk about the positive side of it, is that they pushed the limit out of a 7-ship display, which was amazing to see. I haven't got to those photos as of the time of recording, but I'm sure, I hope that I got some good ones of the Red Arrows, and if I do, they will be up on the screen as well as Joey's as well, because I know he got some good ones with some wingtip vortices and everything. So for me, definitely still up there, but with a 7-ship, I'm going to give it a 7.
Ooh, I think that's quite harsh because I feel like I'm going to judge this based on the display, not based on compared to previous displays. I'm going to judge it just based on compared to the other ones at Midlands. And I mentioned earlier with the Harvard that probably my second best picture of the day. Red Arrow's picture, I got one picture I think is my best picture, probably top 3 of all time. Of the Red Arrows doing the, I guess you called it 3-4 cross, not the 5-4 cross,
Oh,
because it's
yeah,
on 7-ship.
4-3 split into
Um,
4-3 cross, yeah.
yeah, I'd say the picture that will be up on screen is probably top 3 of all time that I've taken. It was good lighting. It was quite unique lighting on Sunday for the Reds because it was changing constantly. There was grey clouds coming in every so often, followed by blue skies. So I was sort of scroll wheeling whilst
Yeah.
taking those pictures, just to change the settings every now and then. As for the display, I thought it was great. For a 7-ship, they, as you said, pushed the limits for a 7-ship. They did Reds 4, 5, 6, and 7 Hannah, which I don't think they've ever done before. So they got the full Hannah, which is, in my opinion, no offense to Enid, it's the best bit of the Red Arrows. They do the close encounter maneuvers.
Definitely
They
not
do,
because we do those.
but
We fly that in our
definitely
virtual
not
team.
because
Yeah.
we do that on virtual, yeah. But for in terms of the display, compared to other years, I would be there with a 7. But compared to just on its own as the display, I would probably give it a 9.
Fair enough. I mean, I definitely can't agree with you there. I think the 7-ship definitely ruins the whole Red Arrows for me personally because I love the 9-ship. It's literally the trademark of the Red Arrows is the fact of the Diamond 9. So now we have a lack of Diamond 7 because there's a lack of Diamond and it's a 7-ship, so lack of Diamond 7. Yeah, double Goose. I'm not a fan of. That also ruins Goose for me because now there's 2 aircraft doing it rather than 1, and the second one doesn't even have smoke on, so I don't see what the point of that aircraft is. Synchros still do all their normal synchro stuff with me and Joey's new personal favourite maneuver known as the slingshot. Basically, I'm sure that Joey's probably got GoPro footage of it, and I'll put it up on the screen. Well, it's probably be up on the screen now anyway. But yeah, I just have to say it's definitely been taken away at least 2 points, 2 points for the lack of Diamond 9 for this year. But our final display, the RAF Falcons. So Joey, do you want to start us off with that?
Yeah, I mean, I will say, I think this is I think it was my second time seeing the Falcons. I believe we saw them at Blackpool
Yeah,
last
we
year.
no. We saw the
Um,
Red Devils at
it might have
Blackpool.
been Red Devils, yeah. I think I have seen the Falcons once before, because I recognised the commentator's voice.
The
Um,
Scouse accent
but
or whatever it is.
it's Irish, yeah. I think
It's,
it's Scottish.
no, yeah.
Scottish or Irish, they're very easily confused, no offense. But I thought it was a good
No,
display.
I
It's a
think it
very
was
unique
Scottish. Yeah.
display. Yeah, it's a very unique display. It's not my kind of display, but I'm gonna try and judge it. Just I got some good pictures of it. It's quite an easy one to get good pictures of because I
They're
mean
not
those
going very
parachutes stand
fast.
out.
Yeah.
They're not going very fast, and those parachutes stand out in any lighting conditions. Um, I saw the salute. Um, didn't see your salute that you did, but I did see the salute that uh some kid did. I got some pictures of it. Um, but I thought it was a good display. It's once again not my kind of display, so I will have to give it a 7.5. But it was still a very good display.
I have to give it an 8, and I'm boosting it up at least a point or two here because I got to do the salute on the Saturday. Again, it's not my type of display, but because I got to do the salute where the picture will be up now, and there's probably even a video playing as well, it was a crazy opportunity that I only got to do because of this podcast. The only reason I was there is because they reckon that they saw the podcast and they were like, grab him on the and then obviously came over and were like, oh yeah, love the podcast. Do you want to come do the salute? I was like, say less, say less. So I went up, did the salute. Um, got told it was the best they've ever seen. Then again, they probably tell that to everyone, because that's just what people do. But yeah, it's fair enough. I mean, it definitely was the best salute just because I'm the best. But
I mean, I will say, one thing that makes it not quite an 8 for me is the long wait. I mean, I know that they have to do it for safety reasons. They have to be so precise with it. But there is a long wait of anticipation
yeah,
watching this plane circle overhead for 5 minutes. But during that wait, I did see rotation in the clouds. Bringing all the way back to weather news here. I did see it was definitely just turbulence in the air because it's quite a hilly area. But I did get 2 pictures. I got 3, but 2 of them look the exact same. I got 2 pictures of it, and you can very clearly see that it is rotating. It even changed into like 2 opposite. I don't even know if there's a name for that. But 2 like opposite rotating vortexes in the air went right over me. Um, but I mean, other than that, it was still a 7.5. Yeah, but the weight is what brings it down for me. It's quite a long weight.
yeah, fair enough. Nothing wrong with that. Um, so Midlands as a whole, we're now going to rate it based on certain categories. So we're going to start off with like hospitality and catering. What do you think the food was like? I know you didn't really eat much, but I know your parents got like donuts and stuff like that. So we're going to rate it on hospitality and catering, overall displays, so like all of the displays combined, like how well they organised it, how well they got some of the displays, like the what do you call it? Like the seating, the like space of the air festival, the stalls, so model stores and the BBMF stalls and all that sort of stuff, and the commentary slash staff that so like Ando and Helen in the commentary box, Mark Lockers and all the other commentators and other staff, photographers, all that throughout the day. So Joey, hospitality and catering. So let's start with that.
I mean, I thought it was great. There was a lot of catering, especially. I'm not sure about outside of the slipstream because I've never been there. But in terms of for the slipstream, that's just the experience I got. I thought they couldn't have really done any more. Um, I know that you said last year they didn't have a toilet in
Yeah,
the
they didn't.
slipstream
Yeah.
enclosure. But this year they did. I thought, yeah, they couldn't really have done much more than they did. They did the flight line walk. For the slipstream, they did. Like you even had a few people coming over chatting to us. Like the Falcons
Yeah.
commentator was chatting with your dad. We had Trev. He came up and
Yeah.
talked to everyone on the slipstream. I would personally rate it a 9.5. I'm not going to say 10 because I think it's pretty much impossible to get a
Yeah.
10. You'd have to be perfect catering to get a 10, but 9.5 for me.
Well, I'm going to give it a 9. I think they could do something with the toilet placement. Maybe move the slipstream or the back part of the slipstream a bit to the side a bit, because the toilet was basically directly behind where everyone was sitting. It was a very cramped area to get into because it was literally there was like a row of seats directly in front of it. So there's like sometimes there's like a row of 3 or 4 line of 3 or 4 people trying to get in, and obviously it just got a bit cramped over there. So maybe move that slightly back. I mean, there's a huge room around the slipstream enclosure where no one was sitting anyway. So maybe move that just a bit back, just for a less cramped sort of area. But yeah, 9 overall. Can't really complain. There's a lot of space. They even made it a bit bigger this year. They expanded the area from last year. So yeah, a good 9 from me.
Yeah, I personally think that we'll see possibly next year them expand it even more. There wasn't. I mean, I didn't really spend most of my time looking to my left because the display, like the all the displays were in front of me, but the display line was in front of me.
Yeah,
But
and next to you.
it didn't. Yeah, and next to me, yeah, it didn't seem like there was as many seats as most air shows would have for the more expensive bit. So we probably could see that even grow even more next year. I'm not sure, but yeah, I agree with 9.5.
Okay, so let's move on to the stalls, as that's sort of pretty close to that. What I know you didn't really look around, but from what I've told you, and I'm sure you probably looked around a small bit. You maybe just didn't go inside the tents. I don't know. But yeah, what do you think of that? What do you think they could add anything? What could they do better? Just rate it really.
I mean, me and my dad did go look at some of them on our way to look for burgers. We didn't find any burgers, so if there was some, we didn't find any. If there wasn't, I would
There was
suggest
definitely
burgers.
burgers. There was definitely burgers.
We went all the way down to the end, had a little look at the ones right at the end, but we didn't go up to them. We couldn't see any burgers, but it's
There
an air
was
show, so that
definitely burgers.
we
Yeah,
doubt
we had
burgers.
burgers. My family had
Oh,
burgers, so there was definitely
there's
burgers.
definitely burgers there. We couldn't find them, but walking past all of them, we did see a lot of the stalls. We saw a lot of things being sold, a lot of food, a lot of
Funny that,
drinks.
Joey. Funny that
Uh,
stuff gets sold at an
yeah,
air show. Yeah.
it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like you bought some of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, they had the flight simulator that we went on, the access disabled access thing, which I
Falcon
thought was
too.
great. Um, I mean, I would give it. I'm gonna try and judge it as if I would have found burgers because you're saying that they had them. Um, I would give it probably an 8.5 for me.
I mean, I'll give it a 9 once again. Got some awesome models there. There's stuff for everyone. There's fans, sunglasses, models, teddies and stuff. So obviously you got Iggy the Dragon from the hot air balloon people. Still can't believe how big he is. It does not look that big, but again, put it next to me. That's quite a large teddy. And for 18 quid, that's genuinely not terrible. So, yeah, pretty peak to be fair. What else was there? That obviously food was quite good. So they had some really nice chips there. They gave you way too many, but they were very nice. For the ones that I had. So yeah, again 9 for me, which brings it to a total of 18 out of 20 for me. And what did you say? 8.5 and 9.5.
Something like that. Yeah,
Let me do some mathematics. Joey, do you want to do the maths? I'm not very good at maths.
18.
So mine's at an 18.5. Oh yeah,
Wait,
that makes sense.
yeah, 18.
So mine's at an 18. So we both at an 18. Yeah, no, that makes sense because you've just gone up
Yeah.
half, down half. So I should have just, yeah. Anyway, next we're going to go on to the air displays as a whole. What would you rate the flying list?
I mean, it was quite a varied flying list, I will say that. It was quite unique. I saw some things that I've never seen before. Saw some things that I have seen a lot before, but I mean, they go to a lot of air shows for a reason. They are good. Um, Unbiased opinion because we spoke to quite a lot of the pilots, had some great conversations. Just the displays as a whole, I'm gonna give a 9. I feel like there could have been a little bit more um, fast paced because there was quite a lot of slower aircraft. And as a jet person, I felt like there could have been a few more faster aircraft. There was quite a few bigger aircraft as well, so I feel like there could have been more fast ones. But I mean, that's no fault of anyone. It's an air festival, not an air show. They're not going for these uh, crazy fast displays. It's much more relaxed.
Yeah, I mean, I give it a 9.5. There was a few things that are just too common at this point that I've just seen so many times that sometimes I just think I can't be bothered to get photos of them. I usually go for at least one or two photos of every single display, but some of them I just see like 5 times every year, and it's just like, well, I've already got some good photos of this. Can I really be bothered? But yeah, 9.5. They had obviously the Firecat and the MiG, which really bring that up. They also had the Strike Masters that haven't been in a few years. They also had the Sea King, obviously, which is always a great helicopter. Unfortunately, that the not having the whirlwinds, no fault of their own, but that does bring it down by about 2.25 of a rating, just because, I mean, I can't really take any more off, otherwise it'd be like a 20 out of 10. But so yeah, that does take a bit off the rating. Very unfortunate, really, that the whirlwind couldn't go. But again, no fault of their own. The Sea King display is always a beautiful display, so hopefully that will be back next year. They also had the P51, which I love. Love the P51. Can't go wrong with that. And obviously they had the red arrows and all that sort of stuff. And the Marchetti as well, which me and Joey both like. So yeah, 9.5 out of 10 for me, which brings the totals up to 27 for you and 27.5 for me, if I'm not wrong.
Something like that, yeah. I mean, we can just put we'll have the thing up
Yeah,
on the screen
yeah.
anyway, because we are gonna forget halfway through this.
So we had two more categories. One of them being the commentators, or like the staff, and the other one being,
Something else.
yeah, something else.
It was something to do with food, wasn't it?
No,
Because
we've
you
already
had the
done the
stalls
food, I
and
thought.
something to do with the food.
No, we had
Well, we'll
we
do
already
the
did
commentator.
hospitality and catering, though, did we not?
Okay, well, we'll do the one for the
Yeah.
commentators now,
All right. Cool.
and then we'll probably pause it and look through the footage to find out what the other one was. In terms of the commentators, I thought Ando did a great job. I thought each individual display that had their own commentators did a great job. Um,
Do you think I did
I
a
mean,
great
there's
job?
not much we can really. Uh, mm, um, uh, there's not much really I can say. They all did a fantastic job. I'm gonna probably give them a 9.5. I loved the bit when Ando confused the stomps for the red arrows arriving. That was my
Yeah,
favorite
yeah.
bit. I mean,
Oh,
to
do you know
be
that
fair,
was
they
funny?
arrived
Yeah.
in the same formation. Yeah, there's a weird shape the Reds to arrive in.
Do you know, I did say to Joey that is
Um,
quite an unusual shape for red arrows to arrive in, being four biplanes. But
um, yeah, but I mean, other than that, yeah, it was great
so what do you rate
commentary.
it?
Like I said, 9.5,
9.5.
9.5.
36.5 for you then. I'd have to rate it again 9.5. So that brings mine up to like a 37 or something like that, I think. I don't know. The totals will be up on the screen. And the last one. We're going to pause it and we'll be right back when we've got the last category. And our final category, which I think we already merged two into each other. So we're just going to add another category, being the overall show as an overall show. A very overall festival of festivalness of festivals. So, Joey.
I thought it was great. I mean, compared to things like Blackpool Air Show, things like RIA, it's a very different vibe. Um, it's a lot slower paced. It's a lot more focused on the just overall enjoyment as opposed to this thing's flying super quick and there's other things flying super quick.
Which I
It's a
know
lot
that
more.
this is what you love. That's like,
Yeah, it's what I love, but I do quite like the slower pace bit because it gives me more time to think. Um, in terms of the overall experience, I would probably give it a 9. I will definitely be protesting to go back next year.
so I think you're on 45 out of 50. I have to give it a
Something
9.5,
like
so I'm on like a
46, something like
46.5.
that.
I think it's a 46.5.
Something like that. Well, the numbers will be on the screen.
Yeah, exactly. So
Mm.
I love Midlands Air Festival. Definitely up there, probably top three for 2026. And obviously we'll be back next year. So great, great overall. And there'll be unless you have anything else to say, Joey.
I mean, I will probably at least, even as of the time recording this later, after this, editing together a little compilation with all the different displays. Hopefully, it's a minute long, maybe even less.
Yeah, which is what I
So
was
if
gonna
if I get
say.
that
Yeah.
done in time, we'll probably play it in a second. But
That's yeah,
that's all I
exactly
really
what I
have
was
to
gonna
say.
say. Yeah, I was gonna say unless there's anything else you want to say,
Yeah.
we'll be playing an edit of Midlands Air Festival next. So we do hope you enjoy this short little clip hopefully Joey makes it before the Sunday. Otherwise, we're just talking to ourselves here. And yeah, well, that is a review of Midlands Air Festival. I don't really think we could get really more in detail and keep it below 2.5 hours because again, very long one. But I mean, me and Joey could go on for like 5 hours doing a review of Midlands Air Festival. So we will see you in a little interval where we're going to announce something big. So we'll see you in a second.
Statement shape of the Diamond DA-42 aircraft. You can see he's just doing a configured pass there with the under pointed out. It has the blisters on the sides. Torpedo. Dummy, obviously, in this case.
And our stop formation. It was magnificent. It was a testament to the fact that he...
The big wave, very low and fast. From your right, Paul Freeland in.
There we go. There's another burst from...
It's beautiful landing there. Burns cooler. Here, right in front of us, right on here. That is a beautiful shot. That was a very sedate takeoff.
Yeah, there was.
As you can see, highly manoeuvrable. Also provides comfort for former military.
To give your appreciation to that extraordinary display.
This particular aircraft.
So, the big announcement, Joey, is something that I came up with and you very quickly agreed upon. Very something that you were like, you didn't even oppose. You didn't even say maybe, maybe not. You were like, boom. So, do you want to quickly tell us what it is?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't oppose to it because I think it's a great idea. Just the way I can see it going, it is DisplayLine Photography. We'll be making a joint Instagram account for DisplayLine where we post pictures that we've got at our shows. Obviously, we'll have them on our own accounts as well because it's not like we're taking so many, we can just put some here and some there. But if you want to get just a mix of all the pictures we get, they will be on the DisplayLine Photography Instagram account.
And yeah, we did say that we wanted to expand the DisplayLine podcast to just the DisplayLine as a like generic brand, as just a name for our thing, just a generic
Yeah.
broad, like Pepsi or whatever, that will own like Sprite and Fanta and all that sort of stuff. You know, I don't know if it does, but I know they own some sort of other drinks brand. But we just want the display line, and then we branch that off into the podcast photography account. I'm sure we'll think of other things in the upcoming months and stuff. But
Documentaries, perhaps, in the future.
Sorry.
Documentaries, maybe in the future. We
Documentaries,
spoke
yeah.
a bit about that in the
Display
past
line
episodes.
documentaries, yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
So it's something that I came up with, and I thought, why not? Let's make that. And Joey was like, yeah, bet. So that's the big announcement. We do hope you don't be disappointed in thinking it was like the display line and we're gonna become millionaires and get their own studio and like all that sort of stuff. It's nothing like major, but it's something that we thought we would first reveal in the podcast. And yeah, so we're gonna move on to the final part, which is gonna be very quick. So we have 9 aircraft from Farnborough, and we're just going to do a quick highlight of that. So we have the F-35A from America, we have the Rolls-Royce Spitfire, which cancelled Cosford, so we'll see if that goes to Farnborough. We have the A350, we have some weird helicopter plane that will all be picked up on the screen now. There's another very weird aircraft. Yeah, incredibly weird aircraft. There
Yeah,
is...
it's a big announcement for the first one.
Yeah.
9 different aircraft.
It is incredibly weird. In fact, I have to get up Farnborough to remember all of these aircraft. So we have so F-35, Rolls-Royce Spitfire, Czech Air Force L-159 with a fly past, the Royal Air Force Typhoon with a fly past, the Bombardier Global 8000. Saab 340, Ultimate Warbirds P51, Starlings, and Falcons. Now, there are a few others, but they're the main ones that are going on the Friday. And then we also have Hampshire Air Festival with the PT-22B Recruit. So that's also going to be great. But we do hope you enjoyed. Joey, take us through your weekly, or very unweekly at the moment, 2-minute recap.
Yeah, so it's been quite a long episode. We started off with the war news with the Kuwait International Airport being struck by the drone. We went to the KC-135 getting back to America. We then went on to the normal news with the paraglider being hit by the Cessna 172. We went on to the gear failure, which I don't think we've had any more information during recording this.
Nah.
It's still a weird situation. There was a plane stuck on the runway at Glasgow. There was Blackpool ATC getting struck by lightning. There was the triplane crash at Shuttleworth. There was the helicopter crash from the Royal Navy. There was the reported video of the F-47. Then we went on to space news, my favourite segment, with the New Glenn explosion, the Starship launch, and the Mars flyby from Psyche. We then went on to the main bit, talking about Midlands. Presumably playing lots of videos if I've hopefully gone through them. There is a lot to go through.
I'll be going through them anyway. I'm sure Joey will send me all the GoPro footage so that I can go through it. So we also have weather. Not much weather. We only had the Steam Devil, and that's not exactly weather. It's more natural disaster. And we had some war news with the Q80 drone strike on the airport.
Yeah, and added on to the weather that I kind of added on myself was the storms we had in the UK. And then the main bit we had talking about Midlands, playing interviews, reviewing it as a whole. It was a great show. And then we did the very brief announcement that we did on the DisplayLine photography, and then we did the even more brief overview of the aircraft announcements for Farnborough and Hampshire.
Yeah, we will have to do an in-depth podcast on all the recent aircraft announcements, but the thing is, it's just not something we can talk about for a long time unless we go into so much detail in every aircraft that people just get bored. So it's something that now is becoming a less and less thing and might not exist in the future, or will just be naming aircraft, because when we had lots of time left at the end, when our podcasts were only like half an hour long, we could add as much detail as we want. Like we talked about the Firebirds for like 20 minutes straight. We could do that for every aircraft, but because of these middle sections and news is so much longer now, it's just not something that we can really add on. So we do hope you enjoyed. We do hope you go check out our joint photography account. And well, without further ado, we will hopefully be seeing you next week. So take care, everyone. Make sure you go subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Instagram and TikTok as well. We do hope you enjoyed, and yeah, well, we'll see you next week. Take care, everyone. We hope you enjoyed our review.